Hello and welcome to another Quarantine Theater Company reading. This time we're doing Poltergeist, by Steven Spielberg. Hopefully nobody dies and this isn't cursed. I'm just hoping, dude. There is a curse. This movie is cursed. The actual movie was cursed, so I'm just hoping all the bad juju has left it. Without further ado, we are going to introduce our characters here. I am Anne. That's still my name. I will be playing Diane tonight. We've got George with us. He's going to be playing Steven, old coach there. Travis is going to be a multitude of characters, including Dana and Shaw and Ben Tuthill, who's one character, not two. There you go, Trav. And of course, we've got Alexander with us. Super excited. He is going to be the beloved Tangina. Woo! All right, and amongst other characters too. So, without further ado,
What?
Rudy.
I don't get an introduction?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's the curse. It's Jennifer is going to be Carol Ann, Carol Ann, Carol Ann, and Dr. Lush. I love you. And Rudy's gonna be our scene description. I'm gonna shut up now.
Okay. Poltergeist, as mentioned before, story by Steven Spielberg, screenplay by Steven Spielberg. First draft. Interior, living room, night, extreme close-up, television screen. The national anthem resounds over the precision maneuvers of the Navy's Blue Angels. When Old Glory fills the frame, the local announcer identifies the station, signifies the megahertz, and signs off for the morning. Transmission ends, and a blast of disturbing static rules the airwaves. It is 2:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Camera slowly withdraws. The TV set appears. A fireplace is off to the right. Trophies of outstanding achievement and annual home sales on the mantle. Stephen Freeling asleep in his convertible chair. An open briefcase on his lap. Real estate maps and lease contracts spread out on the floor by his stocking feet. Camera continues to withdraw until we are moving out of the living room of the suburban two-story home and up the stairs. Interior, upstairs, hallway, master bedroom, night. Camera moves along the hallway past the guest bath and over to a partially open door. We explore this room, if only for an instant, to catch Diane Freeling, 32, tossing in her sleep, a tangle of hair covering her face. Interior, Dana's room, night. Camera moves away and slithers into another bedroom. Diana Freeling is 16, very beautiful, and snoring unevenly. She is surrounded by potato chips and homework. Interior, children's bedroom, night. The sound of television static leaks as the camera moves into the last bedroom. Robbie Freeling is just a 7-year-old lump under the covers with the sheets tucked around him. He looks like a ghost, and where his head should be, there is a Dodgers baseball cap. The closet light is on, and the closet opened, only a crack to let in the safe night light. As we pass beyond Robbie to Carol and Freeling, the static sounds from the off-screen television seem to arouse this pert 6-year-old from a sound and regular sleep. Her eyes snap open. She listens, flicks some sleep from her eyes, and rises out of bed. Camera tracks ahead of her as if drawing her outside the safety of her bedroom and roommate brother. Interior living room night. The static crackles louder and a blue glow dawns across Carol Ann. She could be sleepwalking. Her eyes are riveted and her breathing quickens. The static booms now, and Carol Ann stops at the TV set in front of her sleeping dad. She stares into the white snow, trying to see beyond the color dots. Carol Ann opens her mouth until we are certain she is going to scream. Then,
Hello? Hello? What do you want? Hello? Hello? Who are you? Hello?
Angle, Stephen Freeling, his eyes open. Interior master bedroom night. Diane starts and sits up quickly.
Who are you? Hey!
Interior Dana's bedroom night. She is already swinging her legs out of bed and moving into the hallway.
I can't hear you.
Interior children's bedroom night. Robbie looks over to see Carol Ann's bed empty. Interior living room high angle night. The entire family gathers and watches their youngest child yelling through the static at 2:35 in the morning.
What do you look like? Hello? Can I see you?
Exterior Cuesta Verde Estates overlook day. Anyone outside of Manhattan is familiar with this setting. Sunday in suburbia, a neighbor mows his lawn, another washes his car, and a group of kids play soccer in the street. The Middle America World War II bought and paid for. Exterior Freeling front yard, then an irregular glitch to this setting. A man, Jeff Shaw, is running as furiously as his Jelly Bowl paunch will allow. In his arms, a large brown shopping bag. Barely avoiding a collision with the paperboy, he cuts across the lawn, jiggling the lettering. He crashes into the front door, finding it locked. He turns and runs around back just as Steve opens the front door. Interior Freeling kitchen day. Shaw blasts past Dana, dressed in a terry cloth robe. She is eating potato salad right out of the bowl in front of the refrigerator.
Jesus H. Christ.
Interior living room day. Shaw almost loses his footing, turning into his room, his breath exploding in wheezing puffs. He falls into a chair next to Steve Freeling and 5 other male neighbors who tear into the brown shopping bag, surfacing with Michael Oblights.
What did I miss?
Hayden fumbled.
Sacked.
Damn it, Sam! Oakland bringing a bar.
3 more, Jesus. I was ahead on points. Now I'm pushing.
Shh.
Interior children's bedroom day. Diane is straightening things in here when she notices something that causes her to sadly catch her breath. She walks forward to the bird cage, slowly letting it out. Carol Ann's yellow canary is beat up on the bottom of the cage.
Oh, Tweety. Couldn't you wait for a school day?
Exterior Freeling's backyard day. Robbie is next to a tall, misshapen oak tree that has grown bent forward a little too close to the house. Robbie is marching in circles around the tree, acting brave. He starts to climb. Interior living room day. The Sunday football crowd is on its feet. Hayden has the ball again, and the pass is a bomb.
Oh, look at that fucking Denard run.
Lester Hayes, fucking Hayes is there. He's there.
The channel changes all by itself to Mr. Rogers.
Oh, Todd Hill, you asshole.
Turn it back. Christ.
I'm sorry, guys. When my neighbor uses his remote, he's on my same frequency.
Steve turns it back to football. A second later, Mr. Rogers is singing. Steve walks over to the wall and points his remote control and fires. From the other side of the wall comes a muffled roar, the voice of Ben Tuthill.
Don't start Freeling.
Exterior sliding door, Freeling house, day. Steve opens the sliding glass door and yells over the fence. Tuthill, a robust man, in a tank top and sunglasses, yells out his window, the remote control brandished in Steve's direction.
We got a game going on over here.
The kids want to watch Mr. Rogers.
I don't care what you're watching, as long as you show a little mercy with that thing.
Move your set.
Move yours.
Tuthill clicks at Steve through his window. Interior living room day, Steve's channels change, and the gathering screams again. Exterior sliding door day, Steve fires his remote at the Tuthills, and a muffled "God damn it" is heard. Interior hallway to bathroom day, Diane has Tweety by his little claw feet at arm's length. With a sour grimace, she moves into the bathroom and raises the toilet seat, aims Tweety, and Carol Ann steps into the doorway, catching her mom red-handed.
Tweety!
Oh, shit.
Exterior Freeland's backyard day. With his own bedroom window facing him, Robbie climbs among the twisted branches, then looks at the neighbor and the sky beyond. Exterior POV of sky day. Storm clouds are gathering in the distance. Interior kitchen day. Close shot cigar box. Diane places little Tweety into the cigar box. She starts to close the lid.
Tweety doesn't like that smell.
Sweetheart, Tweety can't smell a thing.
Put a flower with him.
Diane smiles at this thought and takes a red rose from the vase on the windowsill. Carol Ann pulls into her pocket and takes out some red licorice. She bites off the end, spits it in to the cigar box, the wet piece inside the cigar box.
Yeah, for when he's hungry.
She places a Polaroid snapshot of herself and Robbie.
And for when he's lonely.
She covers him with a napkin.
And for when it's nighttime.
Carol Ann starts to cry as she closes the lid. Diane looks on. She really loves this kid. Exterior Freeland's backyard day. Diane has dug a hole in the dirt. Robbie and Dana watch as Carol Ann pushes the cigar box into the earth. Dana is eating celery, and Diane throws her "you're chewing too loud" look. Robbie from up in the tree watches fascinated as Diane and Carol Ann refill the hole. In the background, the football game is winding up with loud interludes between the timeouts of the final quarter.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I need for Travis to say
Brother.
his line.
Brother.
God, we're past it, Travis. We're past it, damn it. That was lovely, Bunny.
Thanks.
I'm not
Mom, when it
Robbie.
rots, can we dig it up and see the bones?
Robbie!
Can I get a goldfish now?
Interior children's bedroom night. Close up goldfish bowl. Carol Ann stares wondrously as two brand new goldfish nibble Hertz Mountain from the surface. Robbie sits on his bed in his PJs reading a Popeye comic. Distant thunder can be heard as Robbie looks over at his window. Robbie's POV. A weak flash of lightning outlines the tree he was playing in earlier. It is not merely the overactive imagination of a 9-year-old that makes this tree scary to us. The twisted branches that seem to suggest arms and the split trunk that appears to suggest horns is all too real, even at first glance. Close on Robbie, he doesn't want to look. He doesn't want to scare himself, but he does. Diane enters off screen.
Honey, you're overfeeding them.
Well, but Tweety 2 and Tweety 3, they want seconds.
Mom, there's a big storm headed this way.
You'll be asleep by the time it gets here if you hurry. Lights out.
The kids dive for the covers. Diane turns out the light. The room is overwhelmed by darkness. Carol Ann speaks up first.
Closet light.
My fault. My fault.
Diane turns on the light in their closet and cracks open the door. Carol Ann relaxes and waves goodnight to her fish. Robbie looks over at the rocking chair by the bureau. Sitting straight up is a clown doll. It is almost the size of Robbie. It stares in devilish, and its smile is just a little too broad for comedy. Robbie gets up and, without looking at the doll, throws a plaid shirt over its head. He climbs back into bed, outlined by a blue flash from the window. Interior master bedroom night. Close on Dutch master cigar box. Two hands lift it from the shadows and into the light. The lid starts to open, and just as we expect to see Tweety 1, we see the stash instead. Steve removes a lid of grass and some zigzag papers and starts to roll a joint. On the TV is an old MGM movie. Diane is reading Carl Drummond's Man and His Symbols. Steve picks up a brochure on pool equipment and diving boards.
Sleepwalking, nocturnal somnambulism. I'll bet you it's genetic. Carol Ann, all last week and then last night. Me when I was 10, I once walked 4 blocks and fell asleep in the back seat of this man's car. He went all the way to work before discovering me. Oh, God, I started screaming. Ugh. People ran over, the police came, they took the guy downtown. My father had me examined for bruises, hickeys. God, I don't even know. Oh, shit, Stephen. If we dig that pool and Carol Ann falls in before there's any water... Stephen, are you listening?
Stephen takes the joint back from Diane and pulls it down halfway in one breath, holding the hit.
Ever go off a 3-meter board?
What's 3 meters?
About 10 feet.
Honey, why don't we just build the pool closer to the house and let the kids jump off the roof?
See, it's like an air pocket. From 3 meters, you're free falling. You can maybe squeeze in a half gainer, jackknife into a swan, twist back, tuck, splash.
Splat.
Splash.
Splurg.
Honey, we can afford it.
We don't really need it.
It's great for business. We build the first house, we install the first pool. Look around us by summer. The hills are alive with the smell of chlorine.
The first pool? How many pools we getting? And yeah, our pool will be alive with 1,000 guests.
I'm the wind and you're the feather.
Oh, Jesus.
Interior children's bedroom night. Stephen flops Robbie onto his pillow just as a flash lights the room and the tree outside the window. Carol Ann lies awake, watching.
I don't like the tree, Dad.
It's an old tree. It was here for a long time, long before my company built this neighborhood.
I don't like its arms. It knows I live here, doesn't it?
It knows everything about us. That's why I built our home next to it. So it could protect you and Carol Ann, Dana, your mom, and me. It's a wise old tree.
It looks at me. It knows I live here.
Robbie is visibly frightened now, and Stephen realizes he's scared him. Just then, a tremor of thunder rolls through the bedroom, and Robbie snuggles up to his dad.
Storm's gonna miss us
How do you know?
because I can count.
The more thunder occurs, Robbie flinches but tries to be brave.
After you see the lightning, count until you hear the thunder. If you can count higher each time, that means the storm is moving away from you.
A flash of lightning is seen.
Now count with me. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
3.
Thunder is heard.
Next time you'll be able to count to 4 or more. You try it, okay?
Okay.
Stephen exits, leaving the door open. Lightning occurs. Stephen waits by the partially open door and listens as Robbie counts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Distant thunder is heard. Robbie is more relieved. Interior hallway outside Dana's bedroom night. He feels real good about himself. He knocks on Dana's door. Music is heard. The door opens.
Night, Dana. Dana,
Good night, Dad.
get off the phone, Dana.
Okay.
Interior children's bedroom night. Robbie looks out the window. The tree stands there in the wind. Another flash of lightning. Robbie controls his fear and concentrates.
1, 2.
Crack, boom. An explosive jolt of thunder rocks the house. The closet light goes out as the tree outside the window suddenly bends forward as if looking in. Robbie sits bolt upright. Carol Ann wakes up screaming. Interior bedroom, much later night. Carol Ann and Robbie are asleep next to Diane and Steve. The TV has been left on the national anthem. It starts to play. Close family, various positions, asleep. Slowly move in closer to the television. The pre-recorded voice of the station manager signs off. A beat. Transmission ceases, and the soft roar of dead air fills the room as the static white snow colors the walls. making shadows flicker and warp. It is only now that we first hear it, a sound intermingling with the TV hiss, like a bad connection from far, far away, a whisper. Not one, but hundreds of them. They say nothing. It's a chorus, tonal and inviting. Close on Carol Ann, she turns on her side and her eyes open surreally, ever so slowly. She turns her and her head fully facing the TV. Carol Ann smiles, a smile too sophisticated for a 5-year-old child. Close on the TV screen, the snow mixes with new imagery, forms vague but luminous, always mingling, impressionistic, never hard lined.
Come out, come out.
The picture tube starts to snap. Little flashes momentarily blind Carol Ann. She blinks and tries to see deeper. Snap, crack. It's as if flash bulbs were being emitted. Stephen and Diane turn fitfully but remain asleep. Flash pop. Robbie is close to waking up. Close on Carol Ann, smiling on her knees now. She reaches out toward the TV screen when something reaches back. A substance, a form like a wispy, smoky tentacle, twist forward, extending from the picture tube and snaking into the Freeling bedroom. Transparent and cold, it gives birth to itself, builds upon its own energy, growing brighter as it seems to hover above Carol Ann, then tower over the family asleep in the king-sized bed. Close on Carol Ann, she must bend her neck to look all the way up to the ceiling where this cyclonic shape waltzes, studying at the room. Then Carol Ann, an explosion from the TV set, the brightest flash she had experienced, a force that expels the intruder from the set and into the room, catapulting it past the family and into the wall right over the bed, where it leaves a dark pencil dot stain. The entire room shakes, and the family is awake and panicked. The window cracks, the curtain rod slips, books and mementos fall from the open hutch. The medicine cabinet opens and prescription medicine splatters on the tiled floor. The room lights flare, then die. Every picture topples from the walls. Just as quickly as it began, the episode ceases. A hush, 28F descends. Everyone looks at Carol Ann. Carol Ann looks at everyone, then intones, almost matter of factly.
They're here.
Exterior Freeling's backyard day. Close study, 4 gear shifts. A work glove shifts. Close study, clutch. A steel-toed work boot slowly withdraws. Close study, steel belted treads. Lurch forward, dripping sod and wet grass. The shovel of the bulldozer touches the earth and scrapes a deep swathe. Camera move closer as the cigar box coffin is cruelly exhumed in the ever-growing tidal wave of backyard turf. Interior kitchen day. Steve is on the phone, nervously smoking a cigarette as the bulldozer can be seen out the window digging the new pool. Diane is serving waffles around the breakfast table. Robbie's feet, their dog Buzz, sits, watching the waffles, hopefully. Only Carol Ann seems to have an appetite.
I'm not kidding, Jeff. How could anyone sleep through a 6.5? Yes, damage. There's stuff in pieces all over our bedroom.
Chew each bite 10 times, young lady.
Carol Ann exaggerates her chewing, smiling with her mouth full.
I know that. We've had the radio on and there's nothing about it. After the Silmar quake, it was 2 years before real estate was on the rise.
Diane is gently coaxing some information out of Carol Ann, who mostly has her mouth full of waffles and blueberries.
Honey, when you said they're here last night,
Can I take my goldfish to school?
maybe the fault line runs just under our house. Wouldn't that be a scream? Oh, sorry, that's Dana's line. But Dana's not around, so...
I'm here.
Are you?
Maybe the fault line runs just under a house. Wouldn't that be a scream?
The ceiling got crumbs all over my bed.
Sweetheart, do you remember last night? Do you remember when you woke up and said they're here?
Uh-huh.
Who did you mean, honey? Who's here?
The TV people.
She's stoned.
What do you know about it?
More than you. Ask Dad.
Robbie picks up his milk to take a sip. When the bottom of the glass drops out, the milk splashing back onto Robbie's cereal bowl, overflowing cereal all over the table and onto Dana's blouse, in a burst perhaps slightly strong for the small amount of spilled milk.
Hey,
It's not my mess.
thanks a lot, Jerko. I've got class in 20 minutes.
Mom.
Give me that thing before you cut yourself.
Carol Ann has a big dripping splash of milk running down her forehead. Oblivious to this, she just keeps eating. Goes over to the kitchen TV, turns it on to the Today Show, then switches to an in-between channel and watches the snow.
I'm out of here. See you early.
I'm out of here.
You, I can handle.
I got school.
Breakfast first.
All right, I'll just flunk.
Robbie shrugs, reaches for his spoon to resume eating, and notices something unusual. The spoon is bent. He looks around the table. Every spoon is bent. Shrugging it off, Robbie lifts his cereal bowl and drinks right out of it, 2 tiny trails dripping off his chin, spotting his school shirt. Exterior Freeling's backyard day. A big man, Pugsley, 30s, bald, steps out of his pool install action truck wearing combat boots. A Teamster t-shirt, mirrored sunglasses, and a baseball cap turned around backwards on his head. He motions to the bulldozer driver to take a gander. Dana grabs her bike and rides off. The workmen pause to stare at her. Pugsley and the dozer driver share a salacious grin, and the dozer driver pops his clutch rapidly, the dozer lurching suggestively several times. Interior kitchen day. Diane has witnessed this sloppy display through the open back door. Choosing to pass over it, she turns toward the kitchen table to clean up. Buzz the dog is sitting on a pulled out chair, eating from everyone's plates. Diane sighs and shoos the dog away.
When you leave the table, Carol Ann. Robbie, you push your chairs in.
Carol Ann is trying to fine-tune the snow on the television.
Honey, you're going to ruin your eyes. That's not good for you.
She turns the set to another channel where a war movie is showing, soldiers blowing up and screaming. Interior master bedroom day. Diane is cleaning up. Broken glass surrounds her. She cups her left hand and picks narrow shards out of the shag. When the growling begins, Diane turns and sees Diane's POV. The dog is growling at the wall, looking up at something we don't see. Diane sidesteps the broken vases to follow the dog's eye line right up the wall and onto the stain. Close on Diane, she cocks her head curiously. Move in on the stain. It has grown since this morning like a Rorschach pattern. Diane tries to rub it out with a pillowcase. She slips into the bathroom and wets one corner, then returns. When Diane stops, carefully, she watches the dog who has ceased growling. Full shot on Diane and the dog, never removing his spaniel eyes from the wall. Buzz the dog, tail starts wagging. He backs a scoot away from the wall and executes an obedient roll over. Diane herself retreats.
Come here, E-Buzz.
E-Buzz turns, but his mind is not on Diane. He runs out of the room between Diane's legs, immediately returning with his chew ball. E-Buzz sidles up to the wall and sets his chew ball down, speaks, and executes a double rollover. Interior kitchen day. Diane enters, sees Pugsley drinking a cup of coffee from one of her china cups.
Okay, Bluto, give me my cup.
Gee, Mrs. Freeling, you make a great cup of coffee. Good for a second cup.
Pugsley breaks out laughing. Diane grabs the cup out of his hands and drops the blinds in his face. Angle, kitchen table. Diane turns to find all the chairs are withdrawn from their intended places. She looks for Carol Ann and then jumps halfway out of her skin. Carol Ann is right behind her, tapping her on the side.
Jesus, don't do that. You want to see your mommy lying in a cigar box covered in licorice?
Carol Ann shakes her head slowly.
Did you do that?
Carol Ann shakes her head slowly. Diane replaces the chairs in their proper places and returns to the sink. She opens the cupboard under the sink and brings out a bottle of 409. She stands and turns around. Facing her is the kitchen table. The chairs are stacked, one atop the other, reaching all the way up to the ceiling. Diane jams her fist into her mouth to press back the natural reaction. Carol Ann stands below her, smiling at the pyramid.
TV people?
There.
Did you see them?
No. Do you?
Uh-uh.
Interior kitchen, new vacant home. Day, wide angle, identical kitchen. In a disconcerting jump, all of the furniture, Carol Ann and Diane disappear. The basic structure of the kitchen remains exactly the same, for this is a model home somewhere in Cuesta Verde Estates. Steve Freeling walks into the empty setting with a family of prospective buyers. Only the wallpaper is different from the Freeling residence.
This then is our latest development. We call it
Where
Phase
is your
4.
home, Mr. Freeling?
We're the first family to set up housekeeping in Cuesta Verde Estates.
Phase 1.
That's right. Actually, you passed through my neighborhood again.
The area with that lived-in look.
In a month, you won't be able to distinguish Phase 4 from Phase 1 from Phase... Well, around here, grass grows greener on every side.
Yeah, I can't tell one house from the other.
Well, our construction standards are very liberal. A matter of fact, a neighbor of mine put a jacuzzi in his bedroom with a running aqueduct connecting it to the wading pool outside, which he built half in, half out of his living room. That home was featured in last month's issue of Town and Country.
Dialogue, fade with dissolve. Exterior, Cuesta Verde Estates. Phase 1, dusk. Sparse lightning over the mountains as the storm clouds begin to roll in. The neighborhood is quiet. Warm window light spill is out across the well-manicured lawns. You can almost smell 200 dinners in all of the ovens of Cuesta Verde. Exterior street, Freeling's house, dusk. Steve Freeling's Oldsmobile station wagon turns down the block, heading home. Angle, freeway, driveway. 3 empty trash cans block the drive. Steve groans as he parks half on, half off the curb, climbs out, and starts removing obstacles when from nowhere Diane is there, literally pulling toward the house.
Hey, babe, guess who just bought LJ 237?
Just come here, hurry.
Well, wait a sec. I'm parked in the street.
Just leave it quick before it stops again.
Interior kitchen dusk. We have never seen Diane focused and again so frazzled. Her words are coming in spurts. She must constantly catch her breath. The thrill in her voice is backed up against an oppressive fear.
Okay, look, listen, I've kept Dana and Robbie out of this, but Carol Ann was with me when it started, so I had to cut her in, but Dana would blab, and Robbie's, he'd be up for weeks sleeping on your side of the bed, and just,
Diane, put the brakes on. Will you just sit down a sec?
No, God damn it, you sit down, I mean, just stand right there, okay, and I just have an open mind, okay, reach back into our past when I used to know you with one, and use it for the next couple of minutes.
Carol Ann suddenly appears from around the corner, looking exhausted and cranky. In her hand is a San Diego Charger football helmet.
Mommy didn't cook any dinner.
We'll go to Pizza Hut, all right?
Angle Steve looking around. He sees chalk marks all over the kitchen floor, arrows and squares and numbers in 2 colors. Diane's breathing quickens as she steadies herself. Skipping to the kitchen table, she takes out of the Colonel Country chairs from the breakfast table and scrapes it along the floor to the center of the room where 4 circles have been described in chalk. Diane places each leg in one of the prescribed circles and looks up at Steve.
Okay, now, watch. Watch.
She removes her hands from the back of the chair and steps aside. Steve watches Diane as much as the chair. He starts to step forward when Diane throws both of her hands out to stop him.
Look.
The chair begins to tremble. It virtually jitterbugs in place and begins to move forward, picking up speed until it traverses the entire length of the kitchen, ending up right in front of Steve's bullfrog eyes. Angle, Carol Ann, yawning. Close, Diane, with hysterical victory in her eyes. Close, Steve, looking for wires. He kneels and feels the chair legs when immediately looks to Diane for the answer.
It's okay. Look! Sweetheart, show Daddy.
I'm hungry.
Don't argue.
Carol Ann shrugs and puts on the football helmet. Diane runs over to Steve's side and pushes the chair out of the way. Carol Ann sits on the floor in a circle with her name on it in yellow chalk. Angle, Steve starts to run for her protectively. Diane restrains him. Low angle Carol Ann, she starts to tremble as if on a funhouse ride. Her little body begins to move forward faster and all the way across the kitchen floor right into Diane's arms.
Ooh, that burned.
I'm sorry, baby. The floor needed more wax.
The fuck?
You try.
What?
You can't believe the feeling.
What's the gag? There's a magnet back there?
Looks behind the door in the dining room. Nothing. Steve just stands for a long moment in hapless silence then.
I hate Pizza Hut. Where's supper? I don't understand, Diane. What the hell is going on around here?
Sidesteps the chalk marks, removing himself from the active area.
I figured I'd never explain it to you, so I showed it to you instead. But don't ask me how or what. Just help me figure out what to do.
You mean there's no gimmick?
Not from inside the house. Oh, maybe Tuttle got himself a super remote from Radio Shack?
Carol Ann adjusts her helmet and sits inside her launch circle. Diane and Steve are having the discussion across the room and aren't aware of her.
Maybe the shakeup and this thing relate.
No shit.
Daddy, look at me.
They turn, but it's too late. Carol Ann shoots across the room faster than before and with no one to catch her. Angle on the kitchen wall at a sickening speed. Her helmet smashes into the wall. Steve runs over. An 8-inch hole in the wall and the cracked plastic on the helmet testify to the force of the impact. Carol Ann is dazed but unhurt.
You promised pizza.
Exterior Ben Tuthill's front porch light. The front door opens and Tuthill steps into the bug light. An obvious strain in this conversation. The motives various, the feelings mutual. About 1,000 mosquitoes chow down on the Freeling while they talk.
Hi, Ben.
Mr. Tuthill.
TV's off in here if your set's acting up again.
No, nothing like that. We were wondering, although this is going to sound strange coming from me.
I doubt it.
These mosquitoes, Jesus.
They never bothered me. I never even bitten by one. As far as I know, no member of my family is affected by them. Mosquitoes ever suck on you, son?
Heck, I don't know, Dad.
Meanwhile, Diane and Steve are being massacred.
You don't know.
Suddenly, there is a crash from somewhere inside the Tuthill home. Tuthill glances casually over his shoulder, turns back to Diane, and removes a wet piece of cigar tobacco from the tip of his tongue.
Mr. Tuthill, what my husband was wondering...
Yes, you see, Ben, something funny in our house next door. Something...
You have been having any disturbances lately?
What sort of disturbances?
Dishes and furniture moving around by themselves.
Interior Freeling master bedroom night. Diane is applying calamine lotion to Steve's neck and wrist.
I had to say something. I was losing a pint of blood every few seconds.
I think we should keep this thing in the family. In the morning, I'll call someone in.
Who, for instance? I've already looked at the yellow pages. Furniture movers, we've got. Strange phenomenon, there's no listing.
Okay, I have a plan. Something's occurring here that we can't explain. If Carol Ann wasn't wearing that helmet.
Okay, stop it.
What if she wasn't? Jesus, Diane, we'd be at county emergency and not getting ready for bed.
Okay, already.
Right. Okay, let's wake the kids. No big deal. Let's wake them. Spend tonight at the Travel Lodge in Broxton and come back tomorrow with experts. Experts who can tell us what it is that's happening and if it's safe to go home.
Okay, now you're scaring me. Don't try to scare me, Steve.
Interior children's bedroom night. Robbie is wide awake. He is staring out the window from under the covers. There's a flash of lightning. Robbie begins nervously counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The sound of rolling thunder. Robbie tenses and watches the tree. Angle window. A wind rustles the gnarled branches. The sky is rolling massive gray and black. A second flash of lightning, and Robbie whispers to himself.
1, 2, 3.
Crack rumble. The window pane vibrates as the shock wave from the thunder bears down and the wind begins to dance with the tree. Interior master bedroom night.
That's me. Sorry. I'm the one who lived with this freaky thing all day and nothing bad happened. It's like another side of nature. A side you and I are not qualified to comprehend, all right? So when you overreact like this, it makes what happened too much too important.
Look, nobody goes into the kitchen until we know what's happening.
We're out of papers.
Interior children's bedroom night. Robbie is watching the tree. Carol Ann is asleep, but she's tossing and moaning like the wind outside of the window. Another flash of lightning. Robbie pulls the covers up over his nose and mouth, his little breath pushing the fabric up and down as he counts.
1, 2.
Kaboom, the room vibrates and Robbie takes his eyes off the window for just a moment, looking at the open bedroom door and the light down the hall from his parents' room. He could be out of bed and in there in 6 seconds if he hurried. A savage crack of lightning, the explosion of thunder right on top of it. Robbie snaps a look at the window just in time to see it happen. Robbie's POV, a hurricane blast of wind hits the monster oak, the two branches resembling arms folding forward, aiming at the window. The disfigured crown with the horns and naughty eyes bend back before tipping forward. The finger twigs at the end of the arms reach out hungrily. Angle the window, the entire tree crashes through Robbie's window. A furnace of lightning accents the assault. Robbie starts screaming. The finger twigs wrap around him like skeleton hands and lift him right out of the bed. Carol Ann sits up and screams for Diane. The tree seems to be exhaling, its breath enveloping Robbie in a phantom haze. The arms begin to retract, pulling Robbie toward the mouth and eyes. Angle on the door. Just then, Steve and Diane appear in the doorway. Diane screams as the tree pulls Robbie out the window and into an 80-mile-per-hour night. The roar of wind is almost unbearable, drowning Robbie's screams and those of his parents and Dana, who suddenly appear in the doorway. Interior downstairs. Carol Ann is suddenly forgotten as Dana, Diane, and Steve hurl themselves downstairs and through the kitchen, only to find the door blocked by several large branches. They scramble back through the kitchen, out the sliding glass door, and into the raging storm. Interior children's bedroom. Angle Carol Ann. The force from the shattered window shoves Carol Ann against the headboard of her bed, where she hugs her clown doll with all of her might. Its broad smile suddenly disconcerting as it appears to be looking toward the closet in her room. Angle the closet. The closet door opens, revealing the most feared and dreaded space in the 5-year-old's tiny, tiny world. Carol Ann looks where her doll is looking and screams horribly. Exterior, back of house, second-story window, night. The storm lashes the tree, lashes Robbie. Rain and wind and condensation make it difficult to see anything. 60 branches from a briar prison that appeared to tear and strangle. Steve races outside. A wall of wind makes his run slow motion. Interior children's bedroom. Angle the closet. The light outside grows into a supernatural intensity, and a sound unlike anything anyone would ever want to hear blasts through the velocity of the storm. It is the closet sucking the bedroom into its murderous glare. Anything not tied down is swallowed. Carol Ann grabs her covers and screams. No sound comes out. She is lifted completely off the bed by the suction. Only her death grip on the sheets keeps her away. Unbelievably, her clown doll is not affected by the vacuum pole. It just sits on the floor where Carol Ann dropped it and stares out at her, smiling. Exterior, second-story window, night, angle tree. Steve reaches the twisting trunk and starts to climb. Diane, screaming from the patio, is lost in the storm. Steve reaches Robbie, and the fight is defined only by the flare of stroboscopic lighting. Every time it appears through, though Robbie will be freed eventually, branches envelop him and wind him tighter. Interior children's bedroom night, close on Carol Ann's tiny hands, the sheets start to peel back. The closet window, the closet, it swallows toys, posters of Darth Vader and R2D2, and sucks harder. The noise, something like a colossal straw pulling at the last drop from a deep, deep well. Only now does the bed give way, flipping into the air and flying across the room, slamming Carol Ann inside and blocking the opening with its frame and springs. Exterior second-story window, night angle tree. Steve tears at the branches, trying to free Robbie. A crimson fluid pumps thick from the branches, and then Steve destroys it. Suddenly, as it begins, the final burst of wind passes the tree like the caboose at the end of a runaway train. He frees his son, and they topple out of the tree. Robbie throws his arms around his dad, and the two hold on for their dear life, gasping, hugging, choking on the rain and sap. The tree is uprooted before them and disappears into the storm. Amid exterior Freeling backyard night, Steve and Robbie sit on the ground. Both are numb and buzzing. Diane runs over and hugs them. Then Dana looks in the sky and points out at the horizon.
Look, Mom, Dad.
Diane and Steve look into the sky miles away. Exterior backyard night. A funnel cloud is moving away from Cuesta Verde Estates, breaking up as it hits the outlying hills. Exterior Freeling backyard night.
A night twister.
Must have just skimmed us. There wouldn't be a house standing if...
Carol Ann.
Upstairs.
My God.
Everyone runs into the house. Interior, upstairs, hall, the children's bedroom night. Steve and Diane are first into the room. Their expressions say it all. Interior, children's bedroom night, full shot. With the exception of the two beds blocking the closet, Robbie and Carol Ann's room is stripped clean. Diane lets out a muffled shriek and throws herself against the barricade, pulling back mattress, box springs, and blankets. Steve joins her, and together they work side by side, panting, crying, and calling out for Carol Ann. Angle Robbie, still in a state of complete dislocation. Robbie walks back into his bedroom and looks at the window. The tree is there. No longer E-Buzz the dog joins Robbie, whispering at his feet. Angle the closet over Diane, screaming out Carol Ann's name. Steve does the muscle work, pulling off end tables, Lone Ranger lamps, chest of drawers, toys, stuffed animals, working his way to the bottom of this innocent debris. Endless debris. Camera starts to move in, going beyond Steve to his hands at work as he lifts the last layer of mayhem off Carol Ann's favorite pink blanket. There is a folded lump beneath it. The lump doesn't stir. Diane covers her mouth and hyperventilates as Steve gently removes the fuzzy blanket, and in is the clown doll, smiling up at them outrageously.
She's not here.
God, Carol Ann!
Dana goes to the shattered window and calls out.
I'll check the kitchen.
Oh, don't go in there. I'll check it. You look in your room.
I'll go look in the bathrooms.
Close on Robbie. Robbie's expression never changes as everyone pushes past him on the run. He slowly walks into the closet and looks in. Robbie's POV, the clown. Interior kitchen night. Steve swings into the room. The television set is on, but the local transmitter must be out. There is only static snow.
Carol Ann.
No answer. Interior downstairs bathroom night. Dana opens the door.
Carol Ann. Carol.
He walks over to the shower stall and suddenly parts the curtains. There's nothing inside. Interior master bedroom night. Diane passes the TV. Snow, but no transmission. She checks the bed, the closet, the bathroom, becoming more frantic with every dashed hope.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. Carol Ann! Carol Ann!
This is crazy. I've looked everywhere.
Oh my God. The swimming pool.
Everyone breaks running. Again, passing Robbie in the hall. Robbie turns into his mother's bedroom. The sound is static. The TV and blue video glow, growing stronger with every step. Exterior backyard pool evacuation night. Dana, Steve, and Diane race to the edge. The rain has softened. The edge and Dana's feet slide out from under her. He starts to fall. She starts to fall. The fall when Diane grabs her wrist. Dana simply dangles above the deep end, filled with 2 feet of rainwater and mud. She slides down the steepy, muddy chute from 3 to 9 feet and plunges his hands into the quagmire. He finds nothing. Interior master bedroom night. Close on Robbie. The blue TV light flattens Robbie's features, accentuating his lingering catatonic look. The TV hiss is growing steadily, and Robbie starts to register something from the back of his eyes. Awareness regains awareness that shifts to terror. Robbie opens his little mouth and produces a low moan, then slides relentlessly to upper registers of primal release.
Mom? Mommy! Mommy!
Evacuation night. Excavation. Close on Diane. She almost has Dana pulled out from when the sound reaches her. A preferential instinct forces Diane to let go. Dana falls 4 feet into her father's arms. Interior stairs upstairs hallway night. Diane is already inside the house and heading down the hallway. Interior master bedroom night. Robbie is stationed not 6 inches from the 19-inch screen, hysterical, holding his hair in his fist. Diane grabs him up and looks into his eyes.
What is it? Oh my Christ, what is it?
The static hiss, it's almost unbearable. Through it all, we can still make out the voice.
Mommy.
Diane frantically searches the room.
Carol Ann,
Diane puts Robbie down and
where are
runs
you?
a wide circle, looking. The hiss is everywhere. E-Buzz the dog growls at the TV.
Mommy.
Diane is hysterical now, the first time we've seen her lose control.
I'm here, baby. Oh God, baby, I'm here.
Close Robbie, walking to the TV screen again.
Mommy, here.
Diane turns to look. She freezes, and only the rivulets of perspiration move across her. Diane doesn't even breathe. TV set slow push in. Carol Ann's voice is heard again, buried deeply behind the horizontal blurring, the electron bombardment, the swirls of snow and noise.
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you?
Extreme close-up shot on Diane. Her eyes roll white, her head lolls, and we fade out, fade in. 3 days later. Interior Dr. Lesch's office. You see Irvine, 3 banks of cold fluorescent purr down from the ceiling. Camera pans down past rows of metal bookshelves from which reams of notes, files, and textbooks hang in no organized manner. Finally, the view stops, and Dr. Martha Lesch, professor of psychology at the University of California at Irvine, wearing a purple afghan to hide the urge for jelly beans and softballs. Norm looks up from her questionnaire and takes off her reading glasses. She is 61 and full of pep. Next to her are 2 long-haired graduate students, Tack and Ryan.
Who are the members of the household involved and what are their ages?
Diane, my wife, she's 32. My oldest daughter, Dana, 15. Robert, my son, he's 9, and Carol Ann.
Yes, Carol Ann.
Dr. Lesch writes 5-year-old in the form.
Has there been any publicity about the events?
Absolutely not.
Can you be reasonably sure of not letting any get started?
It's the last thing in the world that we want.
Would your family welcome a serious investigation of the disturbance by someone who could make first-hand observations?
Angle Steve Freeling, his eyes are dark shadows, and the unflattering light features the patches of stubble and parched lips. He speaks in hoarse whispers, viewing these surroundings with great suspicion.
Look, Dr. Lesch, we don't care about the disturbances or the pounding, the flashes or the music. We want you to find our little girl.
Home, stairway, upper hallway, day. Dr. Lesch is mounting the stairs, followed by her 2 associates, Tack and Ryan. Steve is in the lead, while Robbie keeps his distance in the rear.
I should warn you, we've had to lock off the room from the rest of the house. Robbie sleeps with us now. Dana, our oldest, spends a lot of time with friends.
How many disturbances have you recorded in this room?
We don't go in there
We'll
anymore.
record any psychotronic energy or event.
Ryan filmed an extraordinary episode during a case in the Redlands.
A child's toy, small matchbox vehicle, rolled 7 feet across the linoleum surface. The duration of the event was 7 hours.
7 hours
For the
for
vehicle
what?
to complete the distance. This would never register on the naked eye, but I have the event on the time-lapse camera.
Angle, children's bedroom door. Steve takes a key and feels for the lock. Dr. Lesch and her assistants are looking around and checking out the hallway as Steve swings the door open. Close on Dr. Lesch. She casually looks in. Interior bedroom day. Her POV inside the room. Inside is a junk pile of shattered furniture and toys. The window is boarded up. Objects are in motion throughout the room. The bed is hopping about. Records are flying. A lamp sails through. The clown is seated upside down on the box spring as it spins. Children's pictures. Bugs flapping. Their covers like wings. Cruise the upper reaches. A horse flies by. Finally, a spinning compass plays a record while flying through the roar of the room, creating an eerie melody. Close panning, Dr. Lesch, Tack, and Ryan. All semblance of clinical cool is gone. They are blown away. Interior dining room day. Diane's voice is heard over the 2 shaking hands, trying not to spill a pot of coffee as it fills a cup.
None of us have been much fun to be around. I guess you can tell I haven't slept very much. Steve stayed home from work so much. He's really been wonderful. Really.
Panting up from the shaking hands to Dr. Martha Lesch. She must now use both hands. Steady the coffee she's just poured. Her Assistants are in no better condition. Angle on Diane. She looks terrific. Her eyes are alert. Her hair comes back, held with a bright yellow slip. She sips her coffee with rocky, steady hands and softly inquires,
How long have you been investigating haunted houses? Travised that up.
Well, Mrs. Freeling,
Diane.
the determination as to whether your home is haunted is not a very easy one.
At the moment, the coffee pot moves by itself to the table's edge, but doesn't spill. Dr. Lesh tries to overlook this for appearance's sake.
What I meant to say was that this could very well be a poltergeist intrusion instead of the classic haunting.
There's a difference.
Two bright flashes of light distract Lesh and her associates.
Anybody see that?
Oh, there'll be 2 more in a few seconds. They always travel in pairs.
Tak sits holding the camera with his mouth hung open. Lesh nudges him.
Dr. Casey.
Tak snaps out of it and looks down to adjust the lens just as 2 more flashes go off in the air.
Gotta be quicker than that around here.
It's electrical. You can smell the charge.
You were saying poltergeists?
I was saying they are generally associated with an individual. In the general vernacular, hauntings seem to be connected with an area, a house usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps of a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Diane takes Steve's hand, suddenly frightened.
No. Are you telling me all of this could just end at any time?
Unless it's a haunting, but as a rule, there seems to be no living person around whom haunting incidents revolve.
Then we don't have much time, Dr. Lesh, because my daughter is alive somewhere in this house.
Interior living room desk. The family and the investigators, everyone is assembled around the console TV. Ryan has a Nakamachi cassette recorder on the coffee table and a pencil microphone taped to the television speaker. Tak has erected his Nikon on a small aluminum tripod aimed at the screen, plus 2 infrared heat-seeking cameras and monitors which scan the entire living room, an electrostatic locator to measure ionization, and a magnetometer that measures magnetic changes. Diane is holding Steve's hand. Dana comes into the room with an overnight bag strapped around her shoulders.
Dana, I'd like you to meet the doctor.
It's getting dark, Mom. I gotta go. I'll call you from Trudy's.
She won't stay in the house after dusk.
She's got brains.
Diane flips on the set. A local news station is finishing the report when Diane turns to channel 27.
We receive better on this channel, but don't ask me why.
Dr. Lesh is thoroughly perplexed. She puts on her glasses as Steve turns out the lamp and lights a cigarette. Diane squeezes her husband's hand. The camera pushes into the TV screen and millions of particles of white air. Diane turns the volume up and Ryan, wearing headsets, flinches, adjusting down the volume on his recorder.
I'll call her.
She says this so matter-of-factly that Dr. Lesh gasps. Diane walks to the center of the living room, folds her hands in front of her, collecting her thoughts, takes a very deep breath, and calls to the ceiling.
It's Mommy, sweetheart. We want to talk to you. Baby, please answer. Please talk to me, Carol Ann.
Dr. Lesh looks quickly to Tak and Ryan for their human responses to this. Tak shrugs unnoticed. Ryan adjusts in his chair and looks up at the ceiling. E-Buzz prances into the room, looking as if following the heels of someone with a treat.
Look at the dog.
He sits up on his hind legs and begs to no one we see.
Are you with us now? Can you say hello to Daddy? Say hello to Daddy, baby.
Close on Ryan, he tries hard not to smile. No matter, the suppressed laugh is slipped away by what he now hears. Ryan grabs his headsets in 2 hands, pressing them hard to his ears.
Good Lord.
Everyone turns away from Diane and back to the TV. They strain their hearing, leaning forward, watching.
Hello, Daddy.
Carol Ann, where's this light?
Tell her to stay away from it.
Hello, Diane.
Sweetheart, the light is dangerous. Don't go near it. Don't look at the light.
Tak speaks into Dr. Lesh's ear.
I can't believe it. It's just a zenith. But the voice could be CB broadcasting from somewhere in the house. I'm taking a look.
It's not a hoax.
We'll see.
Tack takes off. E-Buzz barks into the air twice and catches something in his mouth. No sooner does Dr. Lush catch this out of the corner of her eye, with several mid-air electrical discharges illuminate the room.
What's that?
Interior living room floor dusk. From one of the flashes, a number of tiny objects fall onto the carpeting, jewelry, cameos, brooches, coins, watches, both modern and pocket, along with many thin, wiry clips sprinkle the floor. Interior living room desk. E-Buzz immediately starts to sniff whatever it is.
Anything?
Nothing's registering.
Mommy, there's somebody here.
Oh, Jesus, this isn't happening.
Mommy, is it you?
Who is with you?
Somebody's coming.
Interior upstairs hallway, Tack desk. He goes room to room looking for pranksters. When he gets to the active bedroom, he hesitates, listens through the door, pulls in his courage, and turns the knob. Of course, the door is locked. Tack is never without a trick. He slips a file from his utility belt and starts to jimmy the door. The lock gives, and Tack easily turns the knob and lets an agonizing scream. He falls backward, holding his side, rolling over and over until he is at the top of the carpeted staircase. Interior living room desk.
Help! No, 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 no,
A little
no.
voice.
Run, Carol Ann, run away!
Static screams. Close Ryan. His eyes lit up. Close monitors. Feedback. Come to life and start registering wildly. Diane can't stand the scream. She holds her ears. Tears now, imploring Dr. Lush with her eyes.
Carol Ann, oh God.
He holds Diane to him. She pushes away and screams at the ceiling.
You fucking bastard, she's just a child, a baby.
Mommy, mommy.
Help her, can't you hear what's happening?
We hear soft footsteps running across the ceiling and down the wall. 2 lamps are turned over and smashed to pieces on the library table. We next hear colossal footfalls booming in pursuit. A gust of interior wind races through Diane's cloths and ear. She screams and combined by joy and horror.
She just moved through me. My God, I felt her. I could smell her. She went through my soul.
Diane runs back to Steve and grabs his shirt, pulling him to her.
Smell like clothes. It's her. It's her all over me.
Steve smells and can't believe it.
It is her.
The footsteps in pursuit grow louder. Diane turns to face the sound. Dr. Lush turns. Steve and Ryan turn. A perfectly foul smell precedes an implosion of displaced air, almost the sound of thunder. The impact is so great. Lush, Diane, and Steve blow backward, their clothes flapping in the gale as the force passes through each one of them and out. The picture window that cracks is a dozen places but does not shatter.
Have you ever heard of the term teleportation?
Carol Ann.
That's like when Mr. Spock beams up Captain Kirk on Star Trek.
Just about. In a recent case, objects which disappeared from a house would be seen much later falling to the ground outside.
Carol Ann doesn't answer. Steve.
Where exactly do you suppose Carol Ann was playing before she vanished from sight?
Her bedroom closet, and she wasn't playing.
Let's go up there.
It won't let you in.
We'll just see about that.
Lesh practically rolls up her sleeves and heads for the stairway, the rest following. Interior bottom of the staircase, dusk. As they come around the corner, they run smack into Tack, just coming down the last step, rubbing the side.
What happened to you?
I was just about to check out the locked bedroom when, I don't know, something took a bite out of me.
Robbie gets really scared.
You got bit?
That or the worst muscle spasm in the world.
Roll up your shirt. Let's take a look.
Tack turns to face the hall light and untucks his shirt, rolling it up, then rolling up his t-shirt. Everyone crowds in to see. Angle on Tack's stomach and side, teeth marks bear out of Tack's story. The unusual thing is the bite wraps all the way around his side from kidneys to navel. A pink and partially bruised 11-inch crescent impression. Close on Robbie, eye level with it, his little mouth hanging open.
Wow.
Dr. Lush takes a tentative step up the stairs, then turns back demonstratively.
Let's everybody spend the night down here.
Honey, I want you and Robbie to come with me. We'll sleep in town, and then tomorrow.
I'm not leaving, Carol Ann.
I don't want to stay here anymore. This place has got jaws.
You take Robbie into town.
I'm not leaving you alone in this house.
Interior living room night. Dr. Lush has returned to the living room. She bends over and grabs the apron off the couch and pulls it. It folds out, a convertible bed.
Blankets, pillows, sheets. Let's have a slumber party.
Interior living room night. Later that night, Robbie and Diane are curled up together in the convertible bed. Steve has put up 2 chairs together and sleeps fistfully. Dr. Lesh looks over Tack's shoulder at a device and electrohygrometer that is used for measuring changes in the humidity. Hallway, Ryan sits in a chair facing the staircase in the upper level of rooms. His spectroscopic camera equipment is aiming directly up the stairs. Lesh pats Ryan on the shoulders. He nearly jumps out of his skin. They speak in whispers and so not to disturb the others.
Jesus, my heart.
Shh. More thrills than grading papers, wouldn't you fucking say?
I can leave anytime, you know. This isn't the army and you're not my mother.
If push comes to shove, I bet I'll beat you to the door. Any movement out of those things?
There's been some ionization flux. I'd like to make sure they're not caused by humidity coming from structure leakage, but I'm not going up there to find out.
Interior living room night. Lesh goes to the console TV and assuming everyone is asleep, she turns it off. In a very small voice, Diane leans on her elbow.
Please, leave it on.
Dr. Lesh smiles. It's the first time we've seen her do this, and it reminds Diane of one of her favorite storybooks, her grandma who bakes cookies and its comforters. Close on Diane, she smiles back and motions from Dr. Lesh to come over.
When things get quiet, I like now I can imagine how all this must look from your end. I'm really embarrassed.
Oh, nonsense. I'll tell you what is embarrassing. My being here with you nice people. Parapsychology isn't something you master, and there are no certificates of graduation, no license to practice. I'm a professional psychologist who spends most of her time engaged in this ghostly hobby, which makes me, I suppose, the most irresponsible 61-year-old woman I know.
You were so funny. Your hands were shaking a mile a minute.
Diane starts to giggle. It's a release, and Dr. Lesh joins her.
It isn't over. I'm perfectly terrified. Seriously. It's all these things we don't understand. I feel like the proto-human stepping off of the forest primeval and seeing the moon for the first time, throwing rocks at it.
You mean someday we'll understand these things?
When it's recognized for what it is, as any science, understanding and sponsorship seems always to be 100 years behind with ridicule and doubt. Out of this experience, should we capture a high-resolution photograph of genuine manifestation, Time magazine will still put President Reagan on the cover.
If I got killed, would I come back as a ghost and get stuck in the house like my sister?
Your sister isn't dead, Robbie.
If I got killed, could I visit her and show her how to get back here? If you tied a rope around me and held it tight, then somebody could come get me and we could move somewhere else?
Some people believe that when you die, your soul goes to heaven.
When Grandpa was dead, I looked at him on the hospital bed and I was watching. Nothing came out of him.
His soul was invisible. You couldn't see it go to the sky.
How come Grandpa isn't on television with Carol Ann?
Some people believe that when you die, there's a wonderful light. As bright as the sun, but it doesn't hurt to look into it. All the answers to all the questions you want to know are inside that light. And when you walk into it, you become a part of it forever. Now, some people die, but they don't know they're gone.
They think they're still alive?
That's right. Maybe they didn't want to die. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they hadn't begun to live yet or lived a long, long time. But anyway, but wanted more life. They resist going into the light no matter how hard the light wants them. They hang around, watch TV, watch their friends grow up, feeling all unhappy or jealous. And those feelings are bad. They hurt. And then some people just get lost on the way to the light. They need someone to lead them there.
So some people get angry and throw things around, like in my bedroom?
Yes. Just like in school, there are people who are nice to you and people who are mean.
I got beat up once by 3 kids. They took my lunch money. Maybe they got hit by a truck and are upstairs right now.
Let's get some shut-eye. What do you say, partner?
Good night, Mom. Night, lady. Night, Dad. Nighty, Buzz.
Robbie puts his head down on the pillow, and Diane and her Dr. Lesh share a warm look over him. Robbie sits back up suddenly and looks at the TV set.
Night, Carol Ann.
Interior bottom of the staircase on Tack night, flanked by 4 banks of monitors and oscilloscopes. Tack's stomach growls. He turns, looking over at over his shoulder at the kitchen. Angle Tack. He leans his chair back on its hind legs until his head reaches around the corner. Tack pivots to Ryan. Ryan looks up from a penthouse magazine that he is studying by penlight. Tack gestures for Ryan to relieve him for a few minutes. Full shot, bottom of staircase. Tack gets up and Ryan sits down, getting right back to his penthouse after a cursory look at the monitors and readouts. Ryan puts a Walkman over his ears and pops a Herbie Hancock tape in the cassette. Interior kitchen, Tack night. The refrigerator is a perfect target for Tack's housebreaking skills. He turns once, looking over his shoulder before opening the Amana. The light inside bathes everyone in white. Tack takes out a salad bowl and noshes from that, but his chewing is too loud. He opts out a beautiful New York steak wrapped in cellophane. Placing the steak on the dark counter, Tack stuffs a chicken leg into his mouth and searches the kitchen for a steak knife. He pulls his flashlight from his hip pocket and begins pulling drawers. A new sound is added to his search, a crawling, gushy sound that bubbles and softly hisses. Tack turns and sees a shape moving along the counter where he puts the steak. Approaching, Tack tilts his flashlight so the beam hits the object moving on the counter. Close on the kitchen counter night, Tack's POV. The New York steak is alive with cancer. It actually crawls over and over its own rampant cell growth. Interior kitchen, he starts to gag looking at it. Realizing the chicken is still in his mouth, he spits it onto the floor and shines his flashlight on top. Close on chicken leg, 1,000 maggots crawl away from it into the dark corners of the kitchen. Tack starts to reach and flails onto a small powder room. Interior utility room night. Tack turns the light on and retches into the sink. Interior bottom of the staircase night. Ryan is reading the letters to form and hasn't noticed the activity on the first readout. Slowly, the equipment comes alive, purring softly, images vibrating. Ryan is too involved in Penthouse to notice the change. Herbie Hancock leaks from his headphones. Interior utility room night. Tack is catching his breath, his head lowered in the frame. He stands up suddenly, checking his complexion in the mirror. Smash cut to his mirrored reflection. His reflection is a rotting corpse. Hair wild and streaming in his mouth open in a crazy way, teeth hanging by leathery threads, funeral suit from the neck down. The bulb over the mirror changes hue from white to yellow to orange to pink. In a burst of electricity, it explodes over the sink as Tack wheels around, showing up his live image back to normal. Interior hallway night, close on Ryan, aware of nothing, reading, tapping his foot. Interior view of the stairs night angle behind Ryan. Something is aglow at the top of the stairs. Something is starting to descend. Something ectoplasmic and blue and green. Interior on the equipment night. The oscilloscopes are sine waving like crazy. The remote cameras are triggered and click on. Tape machines roll automatically. Interior top of the stairs past Ryan night. The substance is heading down. Interior bottom of the stairs night. Tack walks forward, his eyes riveted to the staircase. He feels in the dark until his hands touch Ryan's head. Ryan turns around to see who's behind him and shines his flashlight up into Tack's face. Close on Tack, lit from below, adds a demented aspect to Tack's already terrified expression. Ryan looks immediately in the direction Tack is fixated. The top of the stairs, interior on the staircase night. Behind both Tack and Ryan, the crawling mass comes down the stairs, resembles a giant hand with long, searching fingers, flowing down the stairs and heading right into the other two technicians. Interior on Ryan and Tack night. Ryan stands and backs away 2 steps, close on Tack. He wants to scream out, but he can't find the breath. The air in the room is suddenly thin and electrostatically charged.
It's manifesting. It's manifesting. Look at the scope.
Watch the tripwires. Temperatures are dropping.
Rachel,
Can you breathe?
can you run? I'm working on it.
Interior stairs night. The fingers are almost to the bottom. The smoking fingertips suddenly rise straight up into the air like sky rising right up to the ceiling. Another tentacle and ectoplasm seems to come forward, larger and thicker than the rest and still growing. It studies the VTR and Panasonic camera, waltzing above it, hovering curiously close, then retracting suddenly like a king cobra. Interior bottom of the staircase on Tack Knight dares to look at the monitor. His mouth drops open. He sees something we don't. His eyes shift back and forth, seeing the manifestation on the monitor. He bares his teeth to scream and
Dr. Lee!
interior living room night, extreme close shots, Dr. Lee. Her eyes open. She immediately pulls out her glasses. Steve falls between 2 stairs, trying to stand. Diane, rising to her knees, she looks out into the hall and hugs Rob protectively. Robbie, interior living room, full shot night, ectoplasmic mist wanders aimlessly, passing under tables, chairs, circling lamps.
Unmute myself. Have you experienced this before?
First time.
Me too.
At this moment, every light bulb in the room comes on, the brightness growing to blinding levels. Everyone covers their eyes.
Smells like a short.
It's going to explode.
The hum of electrostatic charge race up the scales to what sounds like feedback overload, then flash, flash, flash. Everything is dark again. The episode ended. The room is very quiet. Dr. Leash breaks the silence.
Roll it back.
Dak hits the rewind switch on both VTRs. Diane, Steve, and Robbie all run to the display panel.
I think it recorded. I think we got it on tape. Yeah, we got it recorded.
We move from the faces of the Freelings and Leash to their POV of video monitors night. We see the empty hallway and staircase in black and white on one screen. One on the other, a stereoscopic breakdown of color patterns and infrared. The picture on the screen becomes grainy, smoky. A bright, glowy substance begins to form into tendrils that move down the stairs and very close to the camera. The black and white monitor shows what the human eye captured. The color infrared shows what the technology captured. Close on Diane Knight, move into her as she watches the monitors close on monitor night. The smoky substance twists and melts and forms what appears to be the shape of a man's back. Moves in front of the camera, and we see what could be an old man looking over his shoulder with a suspicious expression, and then walking past a little girl, not Carol Ann, holding a ball. She wanders through the living room as if lost. Suddenly, the living room is filled with manifestations. 4 men in burlap-type coats, floppy hats, denim, and boots face away from the camera as a woman dressed in the style of the 1920s moves through the room, tears on her face. People of all ages and descriptions wander aimlessly, lost and sad through the living room. No manifestation makes contact with any other. They don't even seem to be aware of the other's existence. An old woman glances at the camera disinterestedly, and a young boy moves toward the camera and evaporates. The screen suddenly becomes black, filled by 2 glowing beams, and the beam pulled back, and we realize they are eyes of a scary old man. It is the face of a pure chaotic horror, a vision of madness and murder. On Diane and Robbie Knight, she discovers Robbie's eyes and screams continuously out of control, for this is the pit of her nightmare.
That thing is in there with my baby. That thing.
My God, there are hundreds.
Angle full. Steve is holding Diane now, stroking her hair until her screams turn into sobs. Leash and the technicians look on silently. Steve leads Diane and Robbie back into the living room. Dr. Leash takes out 2 tapes and puts them into a briefcase and locks it into a V and with the key. Interior kitchen day. Closed on dustpan, crowded with a mixture of filled and decayed teeth from last evening's hailstorm. Steve closes the trash can and wipes his hands against his shirt. The portable TV is on, turned, and as usual to a static channel. Full shot Robbie, dressed to travel with little suitcase in hand at his side as he budge on Leash.
Okay, tell Grandma to call the very second you walk in.
Taxi's here.
Don't be scared of the taxi man. He's a friend of Daddy's and mine.
I'm 7 years old. Give me a break.
That's what I like to hear. Let's move out. You're about to have yourself a real adventure.
I don't need no more adventure. I need to get some sleep.
Interior entryway living room. Diane and Steve watch Robbie and E-Buzz go out the door. Steve starts to follow, reaching out to help with the bag. Robbie waves him off.
I can do it myself. Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. Call us.
Exterior Freeling house day. Robbie and E-Buzz climb into a taxi. It pulls away from the curb. Interior kitchen day. Dr. Leash sorting through the brooches, stick pins, hail, combs, and cameos, brass buttons, pocket watches, and cufflinks.
This cameo, 100 years old.
Diane returns from the door and cocks her hand to head to examine the jewelry.
Some haul, huh? Maybe they fear a lawsuit and won out of a court settlement?
Dr. Leash holds up a Twisted Flex digital wristwatch.
And then this enigma, probably a couple years old and not your husband's.
You said it wasn't.
I've heard about jewelry or perfume disappearing from a vanity in one room later to reappear in another, but this doesn't fit into any construct I've ever experienced.
Has anything lately?
No, I suppose not. Well, I'm off. I'm gonna want to take these back to the lab along with the tapes. I'll have to display these, you know.
Steve enters the kitchen.
Just please not on 60 Minutes.
Or, that's incredible.
I'm leaving Ryan with you. Tack won't be coming back, you know?
Yeah, he told me he wanted a day job.
But he's promised not to talk about this for several weeks. After that, we're all on our own.
The front doorbell rings.
I'll get
Interior living room day, angle front door. Steve opens it and is immediately uncomfortable. An older man with gray hair and a pleasant smile standing there, briefcase in hand.
We missed you at the office, Steve. The fellows were worried, so I took it upon myself to... Jesus, Steve, you look like shit. Shut. Aren't you feeling any better?
Steve just stands there like a schoolboy caught playing hooky.
Still a little weak. This particular strain of flu is not easy to get rid of. The the minute I'm back on my feet, it's back with
Interior
you.
living room day. Teague's POV. Teague can see past Steve and into the living room and staircase. All sorts of scientific equipment is strung around. The console TV is tuned to a static channel, so is the kitchen portable. Also visible from Mr. Teague's vantage. Teague looks over Steve's shoulder, and Steve tries to subtly block his view.
Looks like your cable's out there.
Cable? Yes, the cable. Yes, we've had no TV for several days.
Well, we should look into that. Is the entire block dark?
No, just us.
Behind Steve, the couch moves across the room, gently bumping up against the baby grand piano, which produces a musical vibration. Exterior front porch day. Steve immediately steps outside with Mr. Teague and closes the front door behind him. The porch light comes on, and even in the bright daylight, it glows so amazingly intensity.
I see you have some electrical problems as well. What's screwed in there? A 300-watt bulb? You're afraid of prowlers or trying to attract every insect in Costa Verde? Haha.
My wife's not feeling well either. She got a little bit of my bug.
Tell me something. Are you happy here? I hope you don't resent my leaping out to ask these things. We wouldn't want to lose our best rep to either the flu or other opportunities. All that software sets up in your living room made me wonder whether you got a little something going on the side.
Just hobbies, popular mechanics.
Are you up to a little ride? I want to show you something.
Interior upper hallway to bedrooms day. Diane hangs desperately onto any tangible reality. She moves carefully through the house, cleaning up. When she passes Carol Ann and Robbie's room, Diane hesitates. She listens to the door and she knocks softly and prays.
Hello? Anyone home? Carol Ann?
Diane slips her hand down to the doorknob, knowing it is always locked. She feels safe and trying it. The door turns in her hand. Tack never locked up after this episode. Diane gasps and jumps back. As much as she wants to, Diane won't go in. She backs into her own bedroom and shuts the door. Interior master bedroom day. She turns and sees the bed is not made. Diane pulls off the covers and the sheets, making them ready for the washing machine. Dust rises off the bed and Diane sneezes as she tilts her head back for a second sneeze. She freezes, looking at the wall over her head. The sneeze never materializes. Angle of the wall. The stain has grown. It is 3 feet in diameter and shaped like a black rose. Little black wiggly lines like veins scribble away from the black pistol in all directions. Diane flinches and steps away from it. She sees a picture on her other wall and determines to hang it over the stain. Exterior, the top of a hill day. Steve and Teague.
I'm so very proud of this place.
Steve and Teague stand on a hill overlooking the entire Cuesta Verde estates. Teague's Bronco sits off to the side.
I've been up here once or twice. Diane calls it Vanity Point.
So who's to say an artist shouldn't step back from his easel to admire the sum of his parts?
When they built our model home, there was nothing down there, just freshly turned earth and a lot of wooden stakes and miles of string.
One of your children was born in your house?
Carol Ann.
I understand she's missed a lot of school lately. Trusk's daughter's in the same nursery class. She have the flu as well?
Yeah, we've all got the same thing.
I'm sorry I didn't see her.
Oh, she's around.
Are you?
Am I what?
Are you thinking of leaving Costa Verde?
I can't believe how a day could be so beautiful. You wonder how anyone can have a problem in the world on a day like this.
Nice spot for a bay window. Wouldn't you agree?
If you're living up here, great. Wouldn't be so terrific from the valley, looking up at a lot of houses cutting into these hills.
You don't have to live in the valley anymore.
What are you getting at?
Phase 5 is going up right where we're standing. This could be your master bedroom suite. That could be your view. You interested?
Mr. Teague, that's a very generous offer, but I'm not a developer.
You're responsible for 42% of sales, almost half of what we're looking at down there. Almost $70 million of dwelling and property. Maybe a generation of security that no one can put a price tag on. We should have made you a full partner 3 years ago. I don't know. I don't want to lose you now.
Steve doesn't know what to think. So much is piling up so suddenly. It's a golden opportunity that 2 weeks ago wouldn't have meant a Hawaiian vacation and days of happiness and celebration. Steve turns around to take in the view. Exterior, the view day. Camera pans around 180 degrees. This whole conversation is taking place just inches outside a quiet little cemetery with picket fences and both ancient and recent headstones. Steve scratches and gestures to the 3-acre memorial park.
How much room for a pool?
We own the land. We've already made arrangements to relocate the cemetery.
Can you do that? I mean, isn't it rather, I don't know, sacrilegious?
Don't worry about it. It's not an ancient tribal burial ground. It's just people. Besides, we've done it before.
When?
In 76, right down there.
Cuesta Verde?
All 300 acres. It was quite a job, let me tell you.
I never heard anything about it.
Well, it's not something you go around advertising on billboards and the sides of buses.
Steve is speechless. He looks back and forth between the existing cemetery and Cuesta Verde estates below.
Why am I always people like what are you worried about? Relatives and friends can visit their loved ones at Broxton Memorial Park. It's only 5 minutes further out, for Christ's sake.
5 minutes. Yeah, I guess that's no great hardship. I suppose that would be okay.
Okay with whom?
Whoever might complain.
Nobody's complained up till now.
Exterior University of California at Irvine campus, establishing shot day. Students mill about between classes. It's a beautiful day at Irvine. Interior Psychic Research Center lecture hall day. Dr. Leash and his senior advisor, Anthony Faro. They are sitting in an empty lecture hallway. Monitors are everywhere. Several people are filing out. Leash is exhausted. Apparently, she's been through quite an ordeal. Anthony Faro is 20 years older than Dr. Leash, which puts them into his early 80s. He puts a comforting arm around her and sits on the desk, smiling like the wise man he is.
In a word.
He hands her back the videotapes.
In a word,
Too graphic?
it was the episode as it occurred.
Perhaps.
Oh, Tony, you too?
I so wish to accept what I saw. I'm only steps away from the old wooden bridge myself. To believe that something exists on the other side would be like a warm light in the window.
Perhaps if tendrils of ectoplasm were all that showed up?
Better.
A smoky shape lasting merely an instant.
Even better.
Nothing on tape at all, only sounds, rappings, a sigh.
You'd still be answering questions. They'd all want you to go back to the house tonight. You gave them too much, Martha. You gave too much too soon. Nothing was left to the imagination. This isn't a science yet. It's still a sideshow, and your troubadours were not in their makeup.
I love me some troubadours. And these, what do you make of these?
He gestures to a dozen of jewelry pieces on the desk. Pharaoh picks up a beautiful brooch. He holds it up to the light.
No, it's the real McCoy. That's one thing for certain.
Pharaoh pins the brooch on Lish's sweater and takes an antique ring, places it on her finger.
Dear Martha, may we cross that bridge together someday? May all we believe be true. May we picnic in the clouds.
Dr. Lee starts to laugh and punches Pharaoh on his leg.
You old con artist, if only you were 50 years younger.
Let me give you some advice. Secret of the few of those gems? Come out of this with something in your pocket. The National Enquirer pays more for inventing what we must, bust our rumps investigating. And for what?
Okay, Pops, I'm making you the accessory in this crime.
He picks out a set of earrings and stuffs them into her change purse. Pharaoh laughs at Dr. Lee, starts to fold up the napkin containing the stones and jewelry. Suddenly, Pharaoh stops at her, reaching for something in the pile.
This is interesting.
He picks up a thin, word clip that looks like it could be a dog muzzle for a miniature poodle.
Did this teleport with everything else?
Yes, I picked it up myself. Why?
He turns it over in his hand.
It's a staple. A clamp for the jaw.
Not something you'd wear to the masquerade ball.
No, but you would wear it to your own funeral. It's a mortician's trick. It prevents the mouth from suddenly dropping open when the body is in repose. It discourages a great deal of embarrassment and, well, fainting.
Wow. Darn, I promised I'd be back before dark.
Martha, dear, why don't you let Tangina have a go?
I was afraid you suggest that. Tangina's so melodramatic.
Yes, but she's a house cleaner, and right now, with what you tell me about this little girl, I think it's high time you brought out your big guns.
Exterior Cuesta Verde Estates pays one night. This time we're framing the first row of headstones, pushing past them to the warm suburban glow that reaches for miles into the hills, joined by a sprinkling of stars on this moonlit night. Interior living room night, moving shot. We are following Steve and Diane. They seem to be gazing down as they walk through their home. Camera widens to reveal Ryan and Leash ahead of the Freelings. They appear to be following something. Also looks down at their feet. Camera pans down, expecting to find E-Buzz at the head of the train. Instead, we meet Tangina Barons, astrologist, clairvoyant midget. She is dressed in a California Hawaiian print dress, wears her hair in a beehive on its aviators, sunglasses, and casually sips coffee from a mug as she explores the Freeling home. Tangina stops and looks at her follower. She speaks with a very polite southern accent.
Would you all mind hanging back? You're jamming my frequencies.
Yeah, oblige, and Tangina waddles her way down the hall and into the stair unaccompanied.
I know what you're thinking. You'll have to take my word on this. She's cleaned many houses. Her gifts are well documented at the parapsychology laboratory in Duke University, the University of Virginia, the University
Diana is
of...
becoming more and more distraught over something.
We haven't heard a word from Carol Ann since last night.
Why is this door locked, Mr. Freeling?
Steve looks up the stairs. He's about to answer, but instead decides to concentrate. A pause.
Answer her.
I am.
Tangina appears at the upper rail and looks down between the banister posts.
I am addressing the living.
I'm sorry. That's the room my son and my daughter occupy.
We believe it's the heart of the house.
This house has many hearts.
Tangina turns away and continues to search. Angle living room. Steve turns to Diane and Leash and Ryan, pulling them into a circle of whispers.
I was trying to answer with my mind. She couldn't hear me. I thought you said Tangina Barons was an extraordinary clairvoyant.
From far away and well out of earshot, Tangina answers.
I am. I just don't like trick answers.
Interior living room night. The cameras are all set up. The Zenith console is now the centerpiece of their room. The rest of the furniture has been piled against the walls, although we are not sure if this is Diane's work or early poltergeist disturbances. Tangina sees herself on the video monitor and smiles into the camera. She waves and watches herself waving on the monitor. She makes a funny face and gives a huge thrill on seeing it in black and white. Diane and Steve stand divorced from this. They have become bit players, and Tangina takes center stage.
Can you make my face look bigger?
Thinking this is a scientific request, Ryan zooms in, filling the monitors with Tangina.
Look at me, for crying out loud. You'd never suspect I was just a teeny little thing, would you?
Tangina, could we get on with this, please?
Tangina pulls out lipstick and finishes her makeup, all the while watching herself in the monitor.
I've never been on TV before.
She steps back and looks into the camera. She adds to her already thick Texas accent. The melodrama gushes out of her.
Yes, it was me all the time, not that fussy harlot from The Office. I shot J.R. Ewing. I blew his little pecker right into the Gulf of Mexico. I swore on television.
No one is laughing, especially Diane and Steve. They are rather appalled. Tangina immediately pulls back. She becomes an adult again and walks into the center of the room.
Honey, come here and give me your hand.
Diane hesitates and looks over at Dr. Leash.
I'm not going to bite you.
Diane slowly walks to Tangina and reaches out with her hand.
Come down here. You're going to give me whiplash looking at you.
Diane smiles and kneels. She is eye level with Tangina.
Your daughter is alive and in this house.
The tears come immediately. Diane breaks down, sobbing, the first confirmation of her own belief from the outside. Tangina hugs her, patting her on the back. Diane's head reassuringly. Steve starts to come over to comfort, but Tangina waves him off and mouths.
A glass of water.
Angle Dr. Lee. She sits down and smiles. Relieved, look to Ryan. Ryan is filming it.
Where was the last incident of biolocation?
Dr. Leash points to the air just above Tangina's head.
I have my strongest feeling. The point of origin is inside the child's closet, upstairs.
Yes, I feel it too.
Now, honey, are you going to be real strong for me, for your daughter? I can do absolutely nothing without your faith in this world and your love for the children.
I will. Believe me, I will.
Will you do anything I say, even if it comes contrary to your beliefs as a human being and as a Christian?
Oh, yes, please.
Then let's get on our feet and go get your daughter.
Ryan laughs, rises. Tangina starts to rise, but then realizes.
Oh, I am standing.
Interior living room later at night. Close television console. Static snow grains again on our nerves. Angle full. Diane is in her self-appointed position in the center of the room, wearing notice from Tangina Barons, who checks through a lot of items laid out on the tablecloth on the living room floor.
Towels, red ribbon, handkerchiefs. How are the tennis balls coming?
Ryan and Dr. Leash are painting numbers on each of 6 tennis balls and then carefully signing their names. String hangs right across the ceiling and to each wall, coming together in the air 6 feet above the floor to form a square. Steve runs in with several pounds of rope slung around his shoulder.
That's all I could find.
It'll do. How's the bathwater coming?
I shut it off. It's ready.
Then I don't see any reason why we shouldn't get started. All right, honey. Call out to her.
In the low light of the living room, Diane stands in the center like a frightened contestant about to audition a song. She says a prayer under her breath and looks skyward.
Carol Ann? Carol Ann? It's Mommy. Can you hear me tonight?
TV console static, nothing.
Carol Ann? Can you tell Mommy hello?
TV console static, nothing. Close on Tangina, her eyes are closed and her breathing becomes irregular. She looks at her dry lips and motions to Diane.
Try again.
Can you say hello to Daddy? Daddy and I miss you so much. So much. We love you so much. Can you say hello?
Close on Tangina, shaking her head.
She's under restraint.
This news hits like a shockwave. Steve and Diane almost answer at once.
She's what do you mean? I don't...
He's what?
Quickly,
What do you mean?
who is
Who's
she more
restraining
afraid
her?
of, you or your husband?
She's afraid of neither.
Which one of you does she answer to first?
He's always gone
When
to
she's
Diane.
naughty, whom does she hide from?
He's a well-behaved child. We've raised her with
Look,
manners.
folks,
And
I'm not the child abuse squad. I need a quick answer.
Steve decides the punishment that the children have always known that.
now, wait a minute, Diane. I don't call that fair. I've never laid a hand on her.
Tangina still has her eyes closed. She motions to Steve to come over.
Fight about it later. Meantime, get your ass over here.
Steve obeys. Diane is lost. Dr. Leash has never experienced anything like this before. Ryan has his eyes to the videotape camera.
Tell Carol Ann to answer.
Steve is uncomfortable and speaking to the thin air. He clears his voice.
Tell her.
Honey, it's Daddy. Can you hear me, Sweet Pea?
Cut the crap and call her loud.
Carol Ann, it's Daddy.
Again.
It's Daddy, sweetheart.
Be cross with her.
Why?
Be angry with her. You'll never see her again.
Carol Ann, this is your father speaking.
Tell her if she doesn't answer, she's in big trouble.
Answer me right now or you're in real hot water.
Tell her she'll get spanked.
You never spank the children.
God damn it, Stephen, tell her.
You don't answer your parents, you're going to get a real spanking from both of us.
Swear. Swear.
Damn it, you hear me?
Mommy, help me.
She's away from him.
Away from who? The thing we saw, is she all right?
Diane, is there a light?
Carol Ann, do you see the light?
He's chasing me, Mommy.
Tell her to run to the light.
No.
They will follow her to it. They have been following her for weeks. You must tell her what I say.
Tell her. Go ahead, Diane.
Run for the lights. Run as fast as you can.
Mommy, are you in the light?
No, honey,
Tell her you are.
it's a lie.
You can't choose between life and death when we're dealing with what is in between. Tell her before it's too late.
Run to the light, Carol Ann. Mommy's in the light. Run to
Tell
the
her
light,
you're
Carol
waiting
Ann.
for her.
Diane is now crying out of angry frustration and deceit.
Mommy is in the light waiting for you. God, I hate you for this.
Quick upstairs, everyone. Bring everything.
Interior staircase upstairs night. Dr. Leash, Ryan, Stephen, and Diane. Tangina Barons is in the lead, outdistancing everyone. Interior hallway outside children's bedroom night. Everyone crowds around. Tangina turns to Steve, her breathing coarse with phlegm and wheezing.
Open it.
This time, Steve doesn't hesitate. He has the key already in the lock and swings open the door. Interior children's bedroom night. It is like a storm at sea inside. So much destroyed minutia speeds through the air. It is not unlike a blizzard at night. The sound is a chorus of moaning and raving, a vocal asylum from a black place where all souls wait for transit. A cacophony of music reverberates throughout. Nothing specific, only madness and nonsense. Into this wall of noise and torment, Tangina Barons appears. She looks around the room. Squinting in the low is blowing dust and particles. Things, objects, phasma, globules fly at her. She sees the closet. The light is there. It is so bright there is no looking into it without retinal damage. Great blue, yellow shards of light spill into the room, defined by thick atmosphere.
Ryan, get downstairs and wait by the target.
A heavy section of the lamp hurls from the other side of the room, right for Tangina's head. Just as it reaches her, it slows down to a winsome of hover and falls into the floor at her feet.
Stephen, give me the tennis ball marked number 1.
Interior living room night. Ryan runs in and stands under the circle of string. Interior children's bedroom night. Tangina takes the tennis ball and, ducking as other objects are coming at her more aggressively, throws it into the furnace of light of the closet. Interior living room night. Ryan looks up. There's a flash, and immediately a tennis ball falls from its base and lands on the floor at his feet. He picks it up and looks at the inscriptions.
It's my handwriting. It came right out of the fucking air.
Interior children's bedroom night. Diane cannot believe what is going on. She looks back into the blizzard.
The ball came back. It's his handwriting.
Tangina tosses balls number 2 and number 3 into the closet light. Interior living room night. There is a midair flash as balls number 2 materialize from thin air, and Ryan catches it. As he inspects the signatures, there is another light flash, and ball number 3 follows and hits him on the head. Interior upstairs by the bedroom door night. Diane relays. Ryan shouts.
2 and 3 came back. They came back.
Now, the red ribbon at the center of the rope. Hurry.
Steve goes to work on this.
She's just at the mouth of the corridor. Tell her to stop. Tell her not to move into the light.
Carol Ann, listen to me. Do not go into the light. Stop where you are. Turn away from it. Don't look at it.
Where is the rope?
Steve hands it to her. Tangina won't wield it. It is too strung out, and she is too small.
Steve, help me with this.
Steve enters the blast furnace of energy and wind and takes one end of the rope.
Throw it into the light.
He throws in the whippet, holding on to the end. Interior living room night. There is another mild mid-flash, and the end of the rope thrown bilocates out from between the string and falls into a pile on the living room floor. Ryan picks up his end and yells back.
Got it.
Interior children's bedroom night. Tangina and Steve are holding the other end when the red ribbon is very close to the closet entrance.
Tell him to take up the slack gently. Yell when he sees the ribbon.
Tangina is marking inches and feet onto the rope with her lipstick, just to their side of the red room, and she nods to Steve.
I'm losing my voice. Shout down to him.
Take up the slack.
The road of the wind inside grows stronger.
He didn't hear you.
Take up the slack.
Interior living room night. Ryan has heard and starts to gently take up the slack. When it is taut, he is fed the rope 1 inch at a time. Interior children's bedroom night. The flag is disappearing into the vibrant light inside the closet. Tangina counts off inches as her lipstick calibrations click off into the void. Interior living room night. The flag appears from the air in the center of the string opening. The calibrations follow.
It's through. It's through.
In children's bedroom night, Cheyenne transfers the information.
Stop it. It's through.
Tangina looks at the last calibration.
Only 36 inches wide. Not much room. Here, tie this end around my waist.
A look of horror crosses Diane's face.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm going in after her.
She won't come to you. Let me go.
You've never done this before.
Neither of you.
I never wanted to. I still don't.
Diane steps into the room, blasted back by several gusts of wind aimed specifically at her. Steve has already started to tie the rope around his own waist. He's decided to go.
You can't. Who's going to hold this end?
Steve realizing it's true, Diane pulls the rope from Steve and secures it around her waist. Steve to clove hitches and faces his wife.
I love you.
I love you.
They kiss apart, and Steve and Tangina get a hold of the end of the rope. Dr. Leash runs into the storm and helps to hold.
No, go down and help Ryan pull, but only when I say so. Only when I say.
Dr. Leash runs downstairs, and Diane takes one look at Steve.
Don't let go, you guys.
Never.
Another angle, closet in Diane. She moves into it, the light swallowing her. Tangina watches the calibrations and stops feeding when the indications are that Diane is in the center of the infinite void. Interior living room night. Dr. Leash runs around in back of Ryan and takes a hold of the taut rope. They wait without breathing. Interior children's bedroom night. Tangina is back in her trance. Sweat beads across her brow, only to be blown into horizontal rivets by the 80 miles an hour wind interior.
How will we know if she's got her?
Tangina doesn't answer. She starts her irregular breathing.
When will we know? Hey,
Cross over, children. You are all welcome. All welcome. Go into the light. There is peace and serenity in the light.
you said no. You said to stay out of the light.
Tangina's trace doesn't include Steve. She does not hear him. He thinks she is leading his family into the light and beyond. Steve panics and starts to pull the rope back.
Diane, Carol Ann,
Tangina snaps out of her trance to find Steve withdrawing rope with all of his might. She lets out a scream.
Stephen, not yet. Ryan, pull.
Steve gives one more tug, and a flash of electrical energy explodes from the claws that allow growl is heard from the light. The growl hits the lower sound registers, and the entire room shakes for its very foundations. Interior closet. The face of the beast emerges from the closet light. Face is the entire length and width of the opening. The head emerges, smashing the door frame. Steve freezes at the sight and screams for the first time. He drops the rope. Interior living room night. Ryan takes his cue and pulls. Dozens of electrical discharges blossom in midair, and there is a primal cry, a cry of birth. Ryan and Dr. Leash pull the rope. Diane, holding Carol Ann in her arms, explodes from the air and falls into the center of the living room. Interior downstairs bathroom night. Steve carries Diane, who still holds Carol Ann. Both are crying and not aware of their surroundings. They are covered from head to toe in jellied substance, pink and red, that oozes down Steve's legs into the floor, leaving the trail behind. Steve turns on the water and puts Diane and Carol Ann into the tub. Ryan follows him behind his portable TV equipment. The water quickly turns into a bright pink as the jelly substance dissolves and foams into the boba bath. Interior bathroom tub night. Closed. Steve is crying. Closed. Diane's eyes open. Closed. Carol Ann's eyes open.
Hi, Daddy.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
Tangina and Dr. Leash lean against the door, exhausted.
This house is clean.
Fade out. Fade in. Exterior Quest of Verde Estates, Phase 1 desk. The title card 2 weeks later fades on and then off. Interior dining room. Freeling family desk. The Freelings are moving. Boxes are stacked all around and packing lists lie on the kitchen counter. The entire family has gathered in front of a large roast. Buzz sits by Robbie. They are bowed in prayer, holding hands.
Bless us, O
Bless
Lord,
us, O
Oh,
Lord,
Lord,
for
for
these
these
thy
thy
gifts
gifts
which we are about
we
to
are about
receive,
to receive.
and for bringing serenity back to our home.
Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub. Yeah, God.
Everybody laughs. Diane, with an enormous amount of gray in her hair, reaches into her purse, almost an afterthought, and takes out an envelope addressing the Freeling family.
This came in the mail this morning from Tangina. She's in Acapulco.
Diane passes a Polaroid around the table.
Who's that with Aunt Tangy?
Insert close on snapshot. Tangina is standing against the sun and surf in a muumuu. Beside her is a good-looking, normal-sized man in his early 30s. If you didn't know Tangina was a midget, you'd think the man was 9 feet tall. There is writing accompanying the photo, which Diane reads, Interior dining room, Freeling family desk.
This photograph just goes on to prove that we grow things bigger in Texas than anywhere else in the world.
Mom, I'm going to the Roxy with Kirk and Franklin.
It's a school night.
It is not. It's Friday.
Right. I guess your mother's getting old.
Just her hair.
Well, I like it.
I can lend you some of my Grecian formula.
I like my hair like this. It's very distinguished.
Diane finishes the letter.
She wants to know how our therapy is coming and says there's no better road to normal life than through the true love that we have shown for each other.
Carol Ann got more sweet potatoes on her plate.
You can have seconds. Finish first.
And thinks moving is a good idea even if the house is clean. You're still seeing Teak tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, he's coming by at 9. We'll probably go to the club.
Looky-loo, looky-loo, looky-looky, looky-loo.
Looky Lou to you too. Looky Lou, are you who? Looky Lou.
Exterior POV of Freeling driveway night. Later, through the lace curtain, Steve climbs into Tigu's Bronco and they pull away. Interior living room night. Diane watches him leave and walks up the stairs to the upper bedroom. Interior upper hallway night. Taking the pins from her hair, Diane passes Carol Ann in Robbie's bedroom. The door is closed and warm light filters through the bottom jamb. She listens in, hears nothing, and starts to turn the knob, but thinks twice and continues into the bedroom. Interior master bedroom night. Diane has done some redecorating in here. The first thing we notice is that the stain is gone and that the curtains are lace yellow and white for borders. The bedspread is happy sunlit color with smiling moons and planets. Interior master bedroom night. Diane reaches down into the bathtub. Close up, drain. Diane squeezes the rubber stopper into the drain. Close up, hot and cold handles. She mixes the temperatures until we see steam rising from the filling tub. Wide angle, bathroom. Diane unbuttons her shirt. She hangs it over the mirror. Kicking off her sneakers, Diane peels off her sweat socks and unzips the Levi jeans. Interior, upstairs hallway night. Diane comes into the hall in her robe. Her hair is pinned up for the tub. The bath water can be heard inside. Trying off the robe, Diane returns to Carol and Robbie's room and puts her hand on the doorknob. This is hard for her and will always be. She turns it and the door slides open. Diane sticks her head in attentively. Interior children's bedroom night, Diane's POV. Robbie and Carol Ann are quietly playing Space Invaders on their new Atari video game. They both turn to see what their mother wants.
Just checking up. I'll be in the tub for a few minutes if you get the phone. Or if
Sure,
you
Mom.
Yeah,
What?
thanks.
Okay, Mom. You're high again. I'm winning.
Well, I won the last 2 battles.
Yeah, and I won the first 2.
Play nice or mommy wins the war.
He turns to go and see that the closet light is off. Diane reaches into the closet with her hand feeling for the switch. Her hand flails in the dark until it feels something. Diane flinches and pulls the closet light come on, and Diane lets the pull cord go. She smiles again at her children and leaves. Interior master bedroom night. Interior angle Diane's bare feet. The robe falls on the bundle around her feet. She steps out and into the tub, sucking in her breath several times as she inches her way into the hot water up to her neck. Diane sighs. She closes her eyes. The steam rises to the ceiling. The tub water gurgles into the overflow drain just under the spigot. Diane takes a wash rag, throws it by her feet, and uses her big toe to clog the overflow drain to stop the annoying sound. Angle floor. E-Buzz comes in and folds his legs up around his nestling into the soft area rug. He closes his eyes, close on Diane. She closes her eyes. Her breathing becomes steady and regular. We hold on and hold. Interior children's bedroom. Robbie yawns and climbs into his new bed. Carol Ann imitates her older brother and climbs into her new bed. TV game is still on. The tiny white and blue sprockets race silently throughout the video game.
Night, Robbie.
Night, Carol Ann.
Robbie looks over at the new rocking chair. The old clown doll is sitting there quietly. Robbie takes the shirt by his bed and tries tossing it over the head of the clown doll, but he misses. The shirt falls across the armrest and starts the chair rocking. Robbie shrugs and turns out the light by his bed. Only the soft moonlight from the window and the warm light from the partially open closet give any ambient illumination to the room. Outside, the sound of a car passing, the ticking of Carol Ann's new Man on the Moon clock. Interior bathroom. Close on E-Buzz. He is sleeping, his eyes open. His ears perk up and he raises his head up to angle Diane. She is drying herself outside the tub. She looks down at her dog and blows him a kiss. Interior master bedroom. E-Buzz's tail wags as he follows Diane into the bedroom, where she sits in front of her vanity table and takes the clips from her hair. Interior children's bedroom night. Close on Robbie. He turns over but can't sleep. He yawns and sits up on the elbow, looking toward Carol Ann. She is out like a light. Robbie casually looks over at the clown in the rocking chair. The rocking chair is empty. Interior master bedroom night. Dressed in her nightgown and robe, Diane combs her long silky hair. She throws her head forward so all of her hair in the back can cover her face. Stroking from the back of her neck, Diane gets out all the tangles. Satisfied, Diane flips her head straight up so all of her hair can fly back around her shoulders. The shiny gray-brown hair flies through up into the air and up her full height. It freezes and doesn't come down. E-Buzz turns and runs out of the room. Diane is looking at herself in the mirror when this happens. In the background, just above the headboard, is her bed. Black spot starts to spread like an ink blot. It gathers speed in all directions, sending wiggly black veins like a man of war over the ceiling and onto the floor. Close on Diane's face, Diane is going to faint. Her eyes start to roll into her head when 4 deep impressions collapse her cheek unevenly against her jaw. The left side of her mouth is pressed against her front teeth, as if someone was wanting to twist her head halfway around the left shoulder. The stain stops growing and starts to breathe, moving in and out like a hairy body of a mutant tarantula. Close on Diane's face, Diane's lips are pressed flat against her gums, mushed in counterclockwise circles, how a kiss might appear if only the receiver were visible. Her hair is allowed to fall around her shoulder and struggles away from force that has held her. She grows straight from the door. It closes in on her face. Diane turns insanely when her arm is nearly wrenched from its socket. She is flung onto the bed right under the spider stain. Children's bedroom night. Robbie, sitting up in bed, looks all around the clown doll. He dares even to look on the floor. It is nowhere in sight. Robbie's breathing quickens. He knows where he now must look. After all, no child can never sleep until knowing the night is in order. Lying on his stomach, Robbie slowly lowers himself headfirst to the floor of his bed in preparation to look under it. He very, very carefully lifts the dust ruffle and lets the top of his head touch the rug. Robbie is upside down as he looks into the darkness under his bed. Under Robbie's bed, the clown is there, face to face with him, smiling sardonically. In the split second it takes for a child to draw a breath and let it out through the vocal cords, the clown doll wraps its 5'4" extension arms around Robbie's neck, cutting off half his hair. Wide, high angle. Struggling now for his life, Robbie is dragged under his bed and out of sight. Close on Carol Ann, waking up suddenly, a light interior breeze ruffles her hair. Carol Ann sees the closet. The closet grows brighter. Interior master bedroom night. Diane lets out a chilling scream. Her robe is torn away from her nightgown and hurled into the air. Diane tries to get up, but pressure upon her chest defeats her best effort. Close on Diane's breast. The nightgown is suddenly torn away, revealing her breast. They are flattened. Hulking finger impressions can be seen sinking deeply into her. Diane's hysteria doesn't make any difference. Now her legs are spread apart, and great pressure over her pelvic bone crushes her deeper and deeper into the mattress over and over again. Diane is fighting all this time when everything suddenly stops. She's left for dead on the wet, sweat-stained sheets. Then it begins again, but this time Diane is pulled to her feet, standing tiptoes above the pillows where she is dragged up the wall and onto the ceiling in defiance on every known law of physics. Diane is dragged across the mandibles of the spider stain and onto the ceiling. There she is slammed repeatedly, her rear end pounding into the ceiling, her back arched, her head torn back from her shoulders, her invisibly by the hair. Without a breather, she is then pulled across and down the opposite wall. Diane is just as quickly released. She drops onto the floor like jello are her legs. Diane struggles, crawling off the bed to the door, reaching, straining to open it. Mercifully, it lets her out. She bellows her children's names.
Carol Ann, Robbie, get out of here. Run, run.
Interior upstairs hallway night, closed door jammed to master bedroom. From beneath the door of Diane's room, a rush of ectoplasmic smoke snakes ahead of her, cutting her off from her children's room. There, an eerie blockade and begins to manifest. Diane looks up to the face that forms the hands that reach out to her and sees the beginning of the great beast. She retreats on her rear and backwards from the hall, pursued by the phantom twister. Interior staircase to the living room night. Diane rolls down the carpeted staircase and grapples for her footing as she heads down towards the back door. Exterior backyard night. It is raining and Diane is instantly soaked as she backs up, looking at the house, screaming.
Steve, anyone, help me.
Diane's feet lose her feeding in the mud and she falls into the shallow end of the unfinished swimming pool, sliding all the way down to the wet mud to the puddle in the deep end. The pool lights come on, backlighting the rain, and Diane's flopping action as she regains her balance in the quagmire. Then a gushing bubble explodes next to her head in the mud. She stares at it as a second bubble bursts, revealing within it the leathery face of a corpse. In its burial clothes, rising like a weed straight out of the gushing mud, Diane screams and backs into another face. Her mouth stretches open, revealing tiny, wiry jaw clamps that make popping sound like a Jew's harp. With a terrible slurp, the sound top of a metal coffin pushes out of the mud. Its lid hinged open, tossing bones and dirt and burial jewelry all over Diane. Interior children's bedroom night, close on Carol Ann. She is screaming wildly, a white hot light erasing her feature as she once again fights the phantom wind that begins to suck the room toward the closet. Close on Robbie, wrestling on the floor with the clown. He tears the stuffing from its middle, shredded bits of white cotton flying at terrifying speed toward the closet opening. Close on the closet. The closet is becoming a living, terrifying organism as it bits of flesh grow like moss around the squared off doorframe. Fatty tissues form, veins escape into the soft pink skin until we are looking into a living mouth, organs and blinding light, and at the very back, a pale yellow esophagus that spirals to abysmal depths. Exterior backyard night. Some sort of seismic upheaval is forcing dead things up from the ground in even greater numbers. Diane is climbing up the steep, slick incline toward the metal ladder at the shallow end. With every couple of steps to safety, and she slips back in the rain, turning back to see the black tie crowd that awaits her. Diane turns back, reaching out her hand to dig deeper into the when. All of a sudden, another hand grabs her. Diane shrieks and looks into the face of Ben Tuthill from the next door.
Look at that. Look at that. Look in your pool. My God.
Mrs. Tuthill
What is
runs
wrong
over in her
with
night
you?
clothes. Ethereally, the screams from Carol Ann and Robbie around almost angelic in the rain.
Just be Mrs. Tuthill too.
Okay. Your children, listen, what sort of sound is that?
Anyway, she pulls away from Tuthill and races back inside the house. Ben starts to follow, but then Miss Tuthill stops him.
Don't go in there. Don't ever go in there.
I
Interior
have to
staircase.
get them out.
Night. Diane hits the
Long
staircase
bitch.
and races up the door to the children's room. Is shut. An ultra bright light is streaming from under the jamb. Diane opens it and is immediately sucked in. Interior children's bedroom. Night. Robbie and Carol Ann hold onto their bedpost with all their might. Everything is loose and circulating the room with the full revolution before surrendering to the closet and bottomless pit. Diane screams to her children.
Take my hand, Robbie.
Robbie reaches out with his one hand, and Diane tries to work her way against the rip to get into position. She looks at the closet. It sucks harder, and Robbie and Carol Ann's bed start to move toward the hot pink opening. Diane larches the final inch and grabs Robbie's little wrist with both hands.
Take your sister's hand, Robbie. Take it.
Robbie reaches for Carol Ann, who reaches out to Robbie. They are but inches apart, ankle closet. One of the last powerful inhale, and the two bed shoots out from under the children just as Robbie grabs his sister's hand and Diane pulls him from the room. Interior staircase. Night. Diane drags her children down the stairs and toward the front door. The staircase is rolling as in an earthquake, knocking them off balance and onto the landing face down below. Diane sees the front door through a sudden cut over her left eye. She leads the children to its slow motion as phenomenally intense headwind tried to prevent their escape. Exterior Freeling house, wide angle night. The rain has stopped. Teague's Bronco pulls up to the driveway of the Freeling home. Steve gets out, sees the house in turmoil, and runs to the front door. Teague gets out of the car. His eyes flow. Interior entryway night. Diane finally reaches the front door. She throws it open and is about to step out when exterior angle on front step night. The front steps crack open and suddenly something explodes. One ornate casket rises up out of the ground, sending a geyser of dirt and splinters into the house, showering Diane, the kids, and Steve, who has just rounded the front of the house. Interior entryway night. Diane picks up Carol Ann, and she and Robbie turn toward the kitchen. Exterior front yard night. Steve turns and is knocked off his feet by an exploding casket, bones and decaying flesh spilling over him. Interior kitchen night. As the family runs for the side door, the kitchen tile bulges horrifically, splits open with moan, and two caskets shoot into the clean eating area, lids blowing off, and rotting corpses reach out at Diane as they pitch forward. As they reach the door, the kitchen wall explodes with impact of the beast. Exterior front yard night. Steve claws his way out of the bones and flesh and runs to the front of the garage. Exterior Freeling house, front yard. Dana steps out of the car with two young men and stands with their mouth agape. Exterior Freeling driveway. Steve looks back at the house, then at Teague.
You moved the cemetery, but you left the bodies, didn't you, you son of a bitch? You left the bodies and only moved the headstones.
Exterior POV Freeling house. Every window in the house blows outward with bright flashes in every room. Exterior Freeling house at night. Diane, Carol Ann, and Robbie coming running from the backyard. Two coffins pop up in their path. They dodge the cascading bodies and scrambling toward the station wagon. Exterior Freeling driveway. Steve jumps behind the wheel as the rest of the family piles into the car. He throws the car in reverse just as coffin blasts through the garage door in front of them. Exterior Platona Drive night. The station wagon roars back, crashing into Teague's Bronco, shoving it into the street. Steve guns the car forward past Teague's, who stares after them. Exterior Freeling sidewalk night on Teague. He turns as the coffin launches out of the lawn, ripping up wires and cables and causing electrical shorts and flashes all around it. It flies open and a hideous corpse launches across the sidewalk at Teague. He falls backwards into a hole, the corpse landing on top of him. Teague tries to scream, but only night breath comes out. Exterior street in front of Tut Hill's house. Night. As the Freeling's car passes the house, a coffin explodes from under Tut Hill's VW, knocking it into the street. Steve swerves out of the, but he cannot avoid hitting the VW, causing it to spin on its top. Steve fights for control of the car. Exterior Platano Drive, Freeling car night. The car continues past a fire hydrant. Another casket burst out of the ground, sending mud and water 30 feet into the air. Steve slams on the brakes, stopping inches from a coffin and mud that block their path. Steve jumps out to clear the path. An incredible noise blasts earth from down the street. He turns. Exterior Freeling house, home, wide angle night. Steve's POV, the children's window is glowing with an almost radioactive intensity. The entire house starts to suck inward, imploding at an angle that suggests that the closet is consuming everything in its lust and anger. Exterior Freeling home, wide angle night. Close on Steve. He is stunned by what he sees. Exterior house night. A concussion of such an awesome power blows all shingles off the roof, and a cloud of thin blue ectoplasm like fingers and arms reaching upward escape like a green comet to the heavens. Exterior freeling sidewalk night, close on tea, dripping mud and putrefying flesh. He looks up at the house. The imploding house creates a whirlwind around him. Teague stumbles backward but cannot lock away the power of the house. Exterior house, wide angle night. Steve's POV, the entire Freeling house is totally consumed by an area in space 14 feet from the foundation that was once the closet. Exterior Freeling car night. Water rains down on Steve from the broken hydrant. He jumps back in the car, backs up, and drives through the coffin and mud that were blocking their exit. Exterior Platano Drive, high angle night. The street is in chaos. Neighbors are streaming from their houses. Cars careening out of driveways. A gas main is broken. Water shoots high in the air from the broken hydrant. Coffins and corpses lie everywhere. The Freeling car turns a distant corner and disappears. Interior moving car, the family night. Everything is in hysteria in here. We can't make out what is being said. The rain lashes out at the windshield and Steve tries to see out. Exterior street in front of Carl Lenwingle night. The street cracks wide open and old wooden coffin is launched upward. It comes crashing down on a hood of the station wagon. A hideously deformed carcass stares crazily through the rain and wind at Steve. Screaming wells up inside. Steve throws the car into reverse. Exterior street behind Carl Lenwingle night. The ground opens up, trapping the car on a narrow island. 5 coffins rise to block it. A body falls onto the open rear tailgate window, and among the family, Steve plows right into the coffin and flattening them and using them as a wooden bridge to cross the stream. Interior back of the moving car night on. Robbie corpse. No longer is Robbie afraid. He's fighting and takes the dead remains, flinging them out the back window of the car, heads out of town. Exterior road sign in the rain night. You are now leaving beautiful Cuesta Verde Estate. Steve's Oldsmobile station wagon shoots past this point, its tail lights diminishing into the vanishing point. Dissolve to exterior Holiday Inn sign night. There in the midst in the air as a camera moves to the sign, angled room 237 night. A camera slowly moves into the door number interior room 237 night. The Freelings, Dana, Robbie, Steve, and Diana are asleep on 2 beds still in the clothes we last saw them wearing. It is very quiet except for the snoring. The nightmare has ended. Camera pans around the room to Carol Ann, who is the only family member not sleeping. E-Buzz is nowhere in sight. Carol Ann is fiddling with the RCA device, the color television, trying to get it to work. Pop, it comes on. The room is bathed in cold blue TV light, and we hear the last few bars of the national anthem. Camera pushes past the sleeping Freelings to a view over Carol Ann's shoulder. The anthem ends, and the station manager identifies the station, signifies megahertz, and signs off in the morning. The camera pushes past Carol Ann's head until the TV is full screen. There is a moment of visual station ID, but only a moment. Flash, everything turns to white static snow, fade out. The end.
It was Carol Ann all along.
Wow. That was great. Oh my God. Thank you guys. If you were watching, thank you for watching. I hope you aren't cursed now. We seem to be okay for now, but we'll see
Except
you
for Travis.
in the
Travis is
future.
screwed.
Maybe.
But Travis.
Bye.